Give me a drink, bartender.
Hi, everybody. It's good to see you tonight. It's been a day. It's been a long day. I've been at work from, what was it, around 10 to 5, so... It's been a long day. It's been a very, very long day. I tried my best to get a decent amount of sleep last night. I'm kind of trying to catch up to a little bit of a sleep deficit, as it were, but, you know, it's alright. It's alright. These things happen. It's good to see all of my good homies up in chat tonight. Fucking, first off, Lily, once again, congrats on the first. Soroka, wonderful to see you as always. Hope Grandveer went well last night. Angel as well, wonderful to see you tonight here on Stalker Tuesday. Ellie, congrats on the torch. Sorry about the heartburn, homie. Up top by BSD. Yeah, it's Stalker Tuesday, so we're going to be keeping it relatively chill. My energy's relatively low. I didn't want to skip out on another one in a row, so I decided I was going to jump in, but we're going to keep it pretty low-key tonight. Today's been a very, quite a roller coaster of a day, so, you know, it is what it is, but, we're just gonna hang out, chill, and yap about whatever the fuck there is to yap about. One of those kinds of nights. So, I'm gonna move us on down to the bar screen and we're gonna get to chatting. Alright? Just a minute. Ah, there we are. Hi everybody, I'm Too Much Sascha. I'm the Chernobyl Battle Maid. I cook, I clean, and I kill. When I'm not doing any of those things, I'm playing spooky shooty games on Twitch. And unfortunately, I'm also presently being handled by the UN, which is not a fun time. I'll tell you what is, though, is getting to play Stalker every single Tuesday, or at least whenever a Tuesday comes along that I feel up to it, I admit. I kind of have found myself in a little bit of a habit of wanting to stream things, and then every time a Tuesday comes around, I say, well, a Stalker Tuesday is a thing that I can always just run again the next week. There's no need to rebook it because I already do it every week, so I don't have a lot of regret whenever I tend to cancel Stalker Tuesdays, but last Tuesday was an instance of I was just hanging in voice chat with Ocean, Amanda, and Ellie, and Soroka, and then later on Angel and Missy, and I didn't really want to leave. Sometimes if I'm hanging in VC with the homies and stream time comes up, I just kind of don't want to leave. I want to stay in there with my friends. And so, I will just kind of stay there and I will say, well, I'll stream another time. So, I was actually doing pretty good. I wasn't in, like, and it's really funny because I actually didn't really start to get in any kind of, like, sad mood until I realized I had to go live, and I just kind of said that phrase that always kind of makes me start to feel sad, was the phrase of, like, I don't want to go. I'm happy here. I'm chatting with my friends who I don't get to see often because I'm streaming so often, and, you know, I don't want to leave. I want to stay here. I don't want to go, and I got told by Soroka, or either Soroka or Ocean, it was the phrase of, you know, we're still gonna be here, we'll be in your chat, and I say, but there's the glass. There's the glass between us, because I've talked about it a lot on Blue Sky and a variety of other places, but there's, whenever you go live, especially on Twitch, yes, you know, you do have people in your chat, but I described it both on Blue Sky and on that album stream I did back in February of, like, it's like walking out on stage, right? It is, no, Lily, it absolutely is extremely different. It's like, you walk out on stage, and like, you know, imagine, like, you know, it's like the setup point is you being up on stage, and everyone is, like, in the crowd, and the lights are all on, and you can see everybody, you can see all the faces in the crowd. But as soon as you hit that going live button, it's like the lights all come down. It's like the lights all just come down, and suddenly I'm standing in a little cone of light, and everything else is black. I hear voices. I hear the voices, like, in the dark, but I don't see the faces. And Yeah, no, exactly. And a lot of times, it kind of, like, a lot of people don't really talk about it. And I can't blame them because it's a hard topic to really discuss because, yes, at the end of the day, both situations are still just you talking to people on the internet and your computer, you know, but one of them is that you can feel them tangibly beside you because you're in a space directly with them and talking with them directly. And then the other is, well, they're in this little box I see on the right side of my screen that are all just writing little messages for me. There's a great degree of separation between these two. And that's what I mean when I refer to the glass. When I refer to suddenly there's that separation, there's that I was in a room full of people having a good time and now I'm up on a stage and there's arguably more people here, but I can't see their faces and I can't feel them next to me. And that is really lonely. It's isolating. I think that's a thing that kind of I'm starting to realize is that Stalker Tuesdays are fun because they're more relaxed, because they're more low-key, laid back. It's just me and the audience. There is a kind of intimacy that whenever we do, you know, co-hosted streams on Thursdays and Sundays, that intimacy is kind of swatched out for this very, very, you know, intense and silly energy. But the intimacy of Stalker Tuesday is also very lonely because it's me up on the stage alone. It's me up here and all I can see is the ring of light over me, and exactly. I go out of my way to make the audience feel like they're a part of what I do. Look at it this way, as I said on Blue Sky. Your typical VTuber, like Corpo VTuber live stream is like an idol show. The idol is up on stage and dancing and singing, and everybody's like, you know, a good like couple 100 feet away from the stage by the way of barriers or whatever the fuck, you know. Nobody gets to take part in the actual show. They're just kind of all there to be gawked at by the idol, not vice versa. But I like to run my shows the way your typical hardcore show would go. I like the crowd to feel like they can stage dive, like they can mic steal, like they can come up and be a part of it. I try to include the chat and the audience in what I do in any way that I can. And Angel said, and I know you don't usually have guests for Stalker Tuesdays, but I keep my live channel open so my homies can crash in and be stupid. And sometimes I do that. I used to do that a lot when I was still working my way back up to being a full-time streamer again. But the problem is that I eventually, like, it kind of, like, leaves open a lot of room for overstimming, and I kind of would like to do more streams that are kind of off the cuff and letting people come in and join in whenever they choose. I would like to do that. I just have to figure out how, because the problem is that once you start, Tiana, she's been at work. But I love a good mic steal stream, especially when you do. Yeah, that's true. Give me a second here. Yeah, I try my best to have chat have, like, an involvement in what I do. I try my best to let chat feel like they can be a part of what I do. And I want to, you know what, honestly, you know, Angel, I think I'm going to start calling them mic steal streams because that feels fun. I'll start calling them mic steal streams because, like, my friend Pinch actually has some streams where they would basically just let it be open VC and anybody could come chill. And it was very obviously supposed to be everyone just kind of like, anybody can come in and out. And obviously the game on stream is like not super, you're not supposed to be paying a whole lot of attention. Well, it's not even that, but it's like, you know, it's not like, oh, focused entirely on the game. It's like, have a good time and chill kind of thing. And Pinch used to call them dumpster fire streams. Whenever Pinch was running a dumpster fire stream, it was open VC, everybody come in and yap about whatever the fuck. And those are fun. I don't mind unfocused because I don't think my streams really have a focus other than just it being on the interaction of the streamer and the audience. But it does kind of get rowdy, and the thing that I'm noticing is that whenever I have very noisy co-hosted streams, it's very easy for me to lose my train of thought and discussions. Well, they do get unfocused. becomes very rowdy and chaotic. And one reason why I like Stalker Tuesday being just me in the audience is because it's one of the only ways I can still kind of keep that sitting by a campfire next to me kind of vibe. That was what all of my streams were before I became a VTuber. And obviously, I started doing the whole, like, Stalker Tuesdays, and then Thursdays and Sundays are me streaming another game, like, with co-hosts, back in 2022. That was when I became a VTuber, and my whole goal was I wanted to make this bar feel more lived in, more homely. And so it was like, well, I constantly have a rotating bunch of guests, and you never who's going to be on. But, you know, I like having a rotating batch of guests where you never who's going to be on, because it makes the bar feel lived in. It makes it feel like a cozy place that anybody can just walk in and talk and relax in. And I like that. But the more cozy a bar gets, the more crowded it gets. And the more crowded the bar gets, the more noisy it gets. And then, well, by proxy, it gets a little bit less cozy. So, while a big part of why I do my 2 co-hosted streams a week plus 1 solo is because I like making the bar feel like anybody can just walk in. I like making it feel like it's a place where you never know what's going to happen. A nice, exciting, and hopping little place where anybody can just come by and see what's going on. But, there's a degree of intimacy lost, because it gets so busy, it gets rowdy, it gets exciting. And I love getting rowdy, I love getting exciting. I love when me and Angel play the forest and get silly. I love when I play Burnout with Kelly. I love any of these little moments where the bits kind of, you know, go off the rails. I like going off the rails. But it's half of the reason why I actually really am happy I've been doing Pathologic with Missy, because, well, Pathologic is a very, very kind of restricted game in terms of its, like, you know, in terms of its atmosphere. It's a very straightened and pulled back kind of experience where most of the focus goes onto the writing, onto the characters, onto the atmosphere. The Pathologic stream is a good example of a stream where I can have a co-host and we can still make it kind of dour, kind of intimate, because it's the two of us kind of navigating a game like that. And when I do play some games solo, or even with co-hosts that do beg a slightly more dour atmosphere, it's kind of a breath of fresh air whenever I get to kind of pull back the energy, pull back the excitement, because the excitement is fun, but sometimes I need a break. And I think what I might need to do is I might need to start doing some solo streams that aren't Stalker, because I've done them before. My Signalis streams were that, my Silent Hill 2 streams were that, my Spec Ops The Line stream was that, and I don't mind that. So, there again, comes down the situation of I like having my solo streams, because there's a degree of intimacy. There's that degree of you're here in the crowd with me, even if you're not part of the mosh pit. We're all here at the campfire, and we're relaxing, and we're having a nice time, and we're just talking about our day. But because there's that degree of intimacy, because there's that degree of I don't have somebody else here up on stage bouncing off of me, I'm now alone. I don't have anybody else up here. All of you are there in the chat box, and I'm up here alone. And suddenly, while whenever I have a co-host, yes, it does get loud, it does get noisy, it does get busy, there's still that flicker. There's still that I walk out on stage and I see all the lighters, the glow sticks, and everybody with their cameras flashing, and then as soon as the lights come down, I'm alone in the dark. And it's kind of scary. So sometimes when it comes time to stream Stalker or something else solo, if I'm in VC with my friends and I'm having a good time and I'm talking, for example, about my relationship with my doll identity, or my relationship with Amber or 80 or what have you, and then, oh, it's time to go live. I don't want to go. But Sascha will be here with you in your chat, but you're not here with me. I'm here and you're there. And that gets lonely and it gets scary. And I don't want to seem like I don't like doing Stalker Tuesdays because that couldn't be further from the case, but you know, there's that sense of you're here and then now you're not. And that can get to anybody after enough times. And if you're, you know, someone like me who, if you haven't slept well enough or you've been very busy and drained, especially if your headspace with the rest of your headmates seems to feel a little bit quiet lately and you're having trouble ascertaining why, you're going to feel alone. So as soon as I come up on stage, I hit the lights and suddenly I realize I'm sitting in the dark again. I'm going to quote a song and help kind of further narrow in the explanation of why I feel this way. The last time I talked about this on stream was when me and Angel and Amanda were watching or listening to our favorite albums of 2025. I need to send that VOD to Angel and Amanda, and maybe Lily, you can watch it, because I think that was when you were still MIA. And a lot of us were very, very much on the ropes emotionally, but it allowed us to be very, very candid about our feelings and how we related to the music. Amanda absolutely just, like, opened her heart when it came to how she felt about bands like Sleep Token. Angel talked nothing but love about Callous Cowboys, and I got to really, really get into the weeds about how I felt about Mac Miller. It was a stream that came out of a really rough time for all of us, but it was a stream where we were probably the most genuine we've ever been on stream, to the point where I kind of basically, you know, encouraged Angel to kind of let her nuts hang about a thing that was really bothering her. But when we were doing that stream, we got to a song off of Suicide Boys' first album they dropped that year, because they dropped two. And one of those songs off that album was called Monochrome, or Monochromatic. And Monochromatic is a pretty heavy song about how being on tour and being big and having a big, you know, community and fan base is nice on paper, but there's still a lot of ways that it gets lonely that you don't realize until you're knee deep in it, where being on tour feels like it'll be so exciting, and so you're always going to be surrounded by people, but there's still that whole thing of, like, realizing that, like, you don't realize it until you're already too far into it. You know, you don't think about the way it's going to be kind of lonely, or that you're going to feel like you're kind of like all by yourself, until it's already too late and you're already on tour and there's no going back home and you just have to see it all through. You know, the kinds of things that, say, Blink-182 would write about in Adam's song, which was a song that I started listening to a lot right when I became a VTuber. Adam's song I don't really think needs a whole lot of introduction. It's a very well-known song about, you know, being on tour and surrounded by people, and as soon as you get home, suddenly you feel like you're just completely all alone. You come back home to an empty house, and just kind of gotta wait until the next gig or whatever. Adam's song hits a lot of notes for me. It's a powerful song. Maybe even a little bit of notes of Nightmare by Tyler, the Creator, but Monochromatic is a song that we talked a lot about on that stream, because it made me realize something that I hadn't been thinking about with streaming, which is there's a type of loneliness to being up on that stage and suddenly feeling like everyone who was just right there with you is now not. Even if they were next to you before and now they're in your chat, there's still that sea of black between you and them. You don't see the faces, you hear the voices, but they're not with you. And the song Monochromatic, there's a big part of Scrim's verse. A big part of Scrim's verse that hits is when he says, "Back up on the road all alone, MIA. Every time I blink, I'm on a different stage. Every girl I see can't help but see her face, so I over-medicate, hoping it'll go away. Wondering who you'd fuck if I was gone. Show me it's real, baby. Fuck me through the phone. Stacking missed calls in different time zones, sold out shows, but at the end I cry alone. Here but never there, it's slowly breaking me to act like I don't care. I'm on in 5 and I need help to climb the stairs. Stretched thin, fueled off pills and some prayers." I think the line, "I'm on in 5 and I need help to climb the stairs," is the one that hits me the most. Of like, I'm here with all of you, and all of a sudden I just kind of have to walk out. I just have to go. Everyone is excited for me. Everyone is congratulating me, saying, "You're gonna do great, get out there, go get him, Tiger," kind of thing. But, you know, they're all happy. But I still don't, and I'm happy they're happy for me. I'm excited to go on stage, but I still don't want to leave them. I still want to be in this room where me and all my friends are hanging in the living room and yapping and chatting and laughing and singing and doing whatever we do. Sometimes I'm just in a place with my friends where I don't want to be anywhere else, and I would love to stream, but I don't want to leave you, kind of thing. And I don't normally get this vulnerable about this kind of thing, but it's a thing I have to reckon with, because every time it comes time to go on Stalker Tuesday, I get that point of I can choose to be in VC where all of my friends are and I can spend the night playing something to my own leisure, or I can choose to step up on the stage where I'll get to perform for a crowd, I'll get to be very, I'll get to have a lot of fun and be silly and do whatever, but I'm still gonna be alone. And also, hi Missy and Lab, it's good to see you too. Real quick, Lily wrote, I think there's a loneliness that is simply inherent to living in our modern world and that can bleed through in spaces and times when we are feeling vulnerable. Correctly. Angel said at the same time, you're my favorite act to tour with. The bus doesn't feel right without Sascha. Nice poll. But, generally speaking, what I'm trying to get to is like, let me look at it this way, to wrap it all up. The reason why I bring up Monochromatic by Suicide Boys is because, not just because it's a song that hits a lot of notes and because they're a band I like, but because, look at it this way. I have always treated what I do the way most bands treat their scene. I came up, going to local hardcore shows before I got into anything to do with streaming. And the understanding about creation, about a relationship with your audience that I cribbed from being in the hardcore scene completely colored my experiences and my own views about having a relationship with your audience before anything else did. I never got that wanting to be part of the idol scene kind of culture of VTubing, because the first scene that I came up in was a fuck the corpos mentality. It was your local underground scene of people sucker punching each other and fuck the festivals and fuck the labels and fuck them all. I came up in a very, punch up at the upper class kind of scene. I came from a scene of there's no barrier between you and the stage. There's no limits of commerciality or of your image. It's the band is up there, you can jump up on stage and two-step and steal the mic and stage dive and start just swinging fists in the pit kind of culture. That was where I came from, a culture of intimacy with your audience, a culture of absolutely no holds barred. And that's why when I entered streaming, a lot of viewpoints that friends, compatriots, and even in one case a partner began to steadily succumb to, the feeling of needing to always play the numbers game, of always wanting to one day be a part of some corpo mentality. That never affected me, because this was always me dancing on a stage and letting people steal the mic and punch each other in the face and stage dive. It was never about wanting to be on a major label or headline a festival. I don't want that. As the song by the Menzingers goes, everybody wants to get famous, but you just want to dance in a basement. You don't care if anyone's watching, just so long as you stay in motion. And that's how I feel. I don't want to blow up. I don't want to get big. I don't want to become a Twitch partner. I don't want to have a Gamer Subs fucking collab. I want to be that shithead who's still playing basement shows, letting her friends punch each other in the face, where everyone just says really ridiculous shit and it's fun and nobody gives a fuck anymore. I don't want to be that motherfucker headlining a festival and being in the fucking headlines. I want to be that party at the end of the world. And thusly, because hardcore was the scene I always came through, and then thusly all of my viewpoints came from an understanding that I cribbed from hardcore, of fuck the corpos, of let the audience be part of what you do. Because of all of that, I have always viewed my streams as gigs or a tour. Each week is a tour. Each stream is me performing at a different venue with a different opening band and performing a different set of songs for a different crowd. Every stream is a different show of a tour. And the first time I really began to actualize that was back in, I want to say, mid-2023, because I noticed that every time I had a major debut of a model or a new overlay or anything else, I began to feel exceedingly agoraphobic, because every time I held a major event, I got a major boost in eyes on me. My audience and my, the amount of people my voice was reaching raised by a very sizable amount. And while most people, especially the ones who thrive off of having a crowd following them, would like that, I don't. As soon as I notice that really important or lots of people or even small groups of important people are following me, I suddenly get very, very nervous. I described once to a friend about how a situation of a person that I looked up to suddenly following me and finding what I do to be interesting. It felt like a bird of prey was flying over me, and I was trying to stay still and be as uninteresting as possible so they wouldn't swoop down and grab me. I didn't like being looked at. I didn't like feeling the eyes on me. I would go live or do anything, and all of a sudden I would just kind of feel like all of these eyes were just looking all over me. And it's why I think I've never gotten that big head, that kind of like, vibe of only just really wanting to have a crowd following and not caring if they actually care about what you say, because having a large number of eyes on me just inherently makes me really fucking nervous. And Tiana's right about DIY and lateral organization rather than hierarchical. It's a rising tide lifting everybody. We're all up here stage diving, stealing the mic, doing whatever. And as Lily also said, I discussed this with her, and we both try to maintain this worldview. But because I understand streaming as being like touring, there was that time back in 2023 after a major event where I began to feel very agoraphobic. And I described it as, if every stream is a tour, and I'm always streaming from my bedroom, then when do I get to theoretically go home in this little metaphor? And the first time I took a week off for my mental health that year was when I said, I'm spending tonight at home. I'm spending tonight at home. Or this week at home. I'm spending this week at home, and I'll see you on the road next week. And I've always viewed streaming as touring for that reason, for the same reason here, that just like how sometimes when I'm in a call with all of my friends and then I go live and then they're in my chat but I don't feel them next to me, and then when stream is over, I close stream and I'm alone. I climb into bed and I go to sleep and wake up the next day alone. And that's why that kind of hits a lot of notes of Adam's song. If I'm streaming, then, I'm streaming every, 3 times a week, and it's always from my bedroom, and I theoretically never get to go home. Therefore, I'm theoretically always coming home alone to an empty house. And I described what happened last Tuesday as being like, imagine yourself in a green room before a show. The green room where the artists, the opening act, and the headliners and everybody all get ready to go up on stage. And, well, what happens is you get up, you have to go on. And then by the time you're done with your set, you come back and the green room's empty. Everybody went home. Everybody's going down to go talk to whoever they are talking to or do whatever they're doing. And you're just kind of alone. And it hurts. It's not a thing you need to feel hurt by, obviously. It's just a thing that happens. But it does hurt a little bit when I, have to leave the green room to go up on stage, and, by the time I'm done, the green room's empty. This used to not be a problem, because back in, the day of, when I was first a VTuber, I was working at a coffee shop job where I was doing very interesting hours, and there were a lot of times where I would close up a stream, and I would leave stream, and my friend's VC would be full of people. So, I'd go on stream and then leave and then jump into a friend's VC that was full of people, and they'd all say, "Oh, Sascha, great job on your stream, good to see you tonight." And I'd chill until about, 2 a.m. just kicking back and hanging with my friends and yapping about whatever. So there used to be a green room to go back to. But now it's like, you know, I'm happy that my server especially is a place where people have a fairly healthy thing. We have our off hours. In the morning, the VC is empty because everyone's off at work, and past a certain point at night, it's empty because everyone's going to sleep to get ready for work tomorrow. I think having a VC where we have that healthy culture of all of us understanding this is the time of day where we're all kind of off doing our own thing. You don't have to worry about FOMO or anything because you don't really need to. Nobody expects to be in the VC from like the hours of, you know, I want to say like maybe like 2 a.m. till like I want to say like 5 p.m. because everybody's off at work or doing whatever. So you never have to be like, oh, you know, I could be in VC with people right now. Like, nah, no, none of us are in VC, dog. We're all doing shit. So I appreciate that our server has that kind of healthy culture where, you know, these are our off hours. We've got our peak hours and our off hours, and, you know, we're all off doing shit during the off hours, and then we can all convene and talk about how our day went during the peak hours. But when I go live in the middle of the peak hours and then I leave stream during the off hours, it feels a little bit lonely sometimes. And that's just kind of a thing I have to get used to, is understanding that, well, at this time of the day, it's the off hours and we've all kind of jumped off because we're all going to bed and going to work tomorrow. It is what it is. These things happen, but... Fucking Tommy Wright. Also, good to see you, friend. So the point is, I think it's just kind of something I need to get used to, is the loneliness of doing solo streams. And I think maybe doing more mic steal streams, as it were, where the VC is open to trusted co-hosts who've been on stream before. Because everybody who's been on a stream with me before gets a role called Toppers, where it means that you can join the airlock and be a part of our stream. So I like having that system of, after a certain point, maybe I will just start maybe sometimes doing streams of, well, I don't have any programming. Maybe if I have a co-host stream and that co-host drops off for that day because they have something else that they have to attend to, maybe I'll do more mic steal streams. They do still tend to get a little bit, you know, like, rowdy, and sometimes I get overstimmed, but it's okay. So I think that might be what helps. Tommy Wright instantly obliterates the tone of the stream with one song. Honestly, you know what? I think since I'm already at the end of the anecdote, this is a good way to kind of bring us back around. But I think that's what I'll do then. I think what I'll do is, in the future, if I happen to have co-hosts that, you know, like, have to cancel on a co-host stream, I'll just do a mic steal. I like how you talk about it like a mosh pit, because we really do constantly punch each other in the face. What is the song? How do I explain Tommy Wright III? How do I explain Tommy Wright? Alright, look, the story is done. Y'all know what I meant. I get lonely when I have to do a solo stream, and if I'm VC with my friends, I don't want to leave and then go onto a lonely solo stream. But then streams with all the people kind of get rowdy, and I get overstimmed, etc., etc. So I want to do more streams where we all hang out in the VC, that kind of thing. Anyway, Lily, this is an interlude track by Tommy Wright III, who is a rapper from Memphis, Tennessee. He is known as being a fairly influential and very, very like formative rapper in the early 1990s Memphis scene. He's an underground rapper. Most of the more well-known and formative rappers in the Memphis scene came up from the underground, making hip-hop and horrorcore. Tommy Wright, along with a lot of other members of 3-6 Mafia, like, say, Gangsta Boo, Project Pat, Lord Infamous, Juicy J, and all of that, are people who kind of helped found the, like, early Memphis horrorcore scene, which eventually grew into a lot of other different styles of hip-hop, including the very sort of viral funk subgenre. 3-6 Mafia are great. I heavily recommend the album Mystic Styles. I think it's great. Any hip-hop album that starts with all of the members doing an evil laugh together is really fucking fun. It's got great tracks. I like Break the Law 94. Also, much love to Mr. Don't Play, Everything's Working by Project Pat. We love Project Pat. Anyway, Tommy Wright III was part of that scene. He was part of the like, you know, burgeoning Memphis scene in the early 90s, And the song you were just hearing is called Newsflash. It's an interlude off of his mixtape Runnin' and Gunnin', which features a lot of really good talent, including a local rapper named Princess Loco, who was only about 16 at the time and was really, really good at what she did. She, unfortunately, much like Gangsta Boo, is no longer with us. Rest in peace, Gangsta Boo and Princess Loco. However, Newsflash by Tommy Wright is an interlude that is basically just like, much like most of the Memphis hip-hop, as well as the Houston and Dallas scenes, chopped and screwed styles, of course, pioneered by DJ Screw. The fucking interlude you were hearing is mainly just like kind of taken out of a bunch of different samples and different bars of Tommy's, just kind of like chopped and put together in a little, you know, a little interlude track. And it's called Newsflash. And I think that was the opening track on Runnin' and Gunnin', wasn't it? But yeah, it's literally just like an interlude track from his Runnin' and Gunnin' mixtape, and it's just, you know, a really solid beat with a bunch of his own bars kind of chopped over it. The reason it's here, okay, I'm going to have to explain this. I'm going to have to explain this part, unfortunately, and there's nothing any of you can do about it, is because of a little meme that appeared at the very end of 2023. That meme was called Tommy Wright at Creep at Night, which is just one of the bars in the song. And what happened is, for some reason that we can't really understand, in late 2023, ones in chat if you're kicking it with TW, for reasons we can't quite explain, very late in 2023, there just became, like, I don't know what happened, but sometimes I feel like I'm too white and too Northern European to appreciate hip-hop. Well, don't worry, Lily, because a big part of the PCHC is hip-hop, because hip-hop and hardcore have always been intermixed. Hip-hop and hardcore have always been very, very close together. Looks at the Denzel Curry and Knocked Loose track, as well as Public Enemy and Anthrax. Hardcore and hip-hop go hand in hand, and so too do they do in this scene. Anyway, so don't worry, we are gonna get you into some fucking hip-hop. We'll get you on some Denzel Curry sometime. But anyway, what happened is that in late 2023, for reasons we can't really, like, for reasons I don't really think I can even divine, all of a sudden, there became a wave of YouTube videos that were all just called Tommy Wright I Creep at Night. All of them featured that song. And were just videos of people no-clipping, or bunny hopping, or, like, ragdolling through video games, and nobody could really figure out why. It was just like that. And all of them started to get thousands and thousands and thousands of views, and we started calling it the Tommy Wright Sweep. And we don't really know how it happened. I actually have a video in that era. And if you check some of the Tommy Wright I Creep at Night playlists, it's actually in them, which is very, very interesting. But I'm pulling one up for all of you now so you can understand this. But the Tommy Wright sweep really was a complete internet anomaly because it just kind of came out of nowhere and there wasn't any type of concerted effort of, oh, everybody make Tommy Wright videos. It's just, it felt like the early or like kind of like growing internet again. Like, better luck next time. It felt kind of like that early internet when shit would just kind of happen, and we didn't really know why. Because it just kind of happened and then stopped happening, and that's it. It was a very, like, kind of flash-in-the-pan situation. Yeah, at least he didn't die. Nix is the only person to die. So, the Tommy Wright sweep was literally just a weird meme kind of coming out of nowhere completely organically, and then ending completely organically. And that was it. And I think there was something kind of beautiful about that. And that's why a lot of people like it, because it literally was just like kind of, it had the same spirit as a lot of the viral videos in like early YouTube or whatever, of just a thing just kind of appears and you don't really understand it, but you kind of get it. And that's all that really matters. So let me show you some examples then. Here we go. Perfect. Where am I, by the way? Sascha? Ah, okay. This'll have to do. Here we go.
Tommy right on the creek with that bucket sawed off. Tommy pop the clip into the palm, played it 44. Tommy right, I creep at night. Posse deep is how I creep. Tommy right on the creek with that bucket sawed off. Tommy pop the clip into the palm, played it 44. Tommy right, I creep at night. Posse deep is how I creep. Tommy right on the creek.
That's literally all it is. Like, that was what it was, and it was tons and tons of videos of exactly this.
It was 14 days in the penal farm.
Tommy right on the creek.
Okay, well, this one is very obviously cursed. Something is very greatly wrong here. But people were even doing like live action recreations. It was really something. There's nothing else quite like it.
Tommy right on the creek with that bucket sawed off. Tommy pop the clip into the palm, played it 44. Tommy right, I creep at night. Posse deep is how I creep. Tommy right on the creek with that bucket sawed off. Tommy pop the clip into the palm, played it 44. Tommy right, I creep at night. Posse deep is how I creep. Tommy right on the creek with that bucket sawed off. Tommy pop the clip into the palm, played it 44.
Yeah, that's Tommy Wright. And now, of course, I am obligated to play my own. I'm obligated to play my own Tommy Wright video. Which is... Where are you, my darling? Is it here? Here we go. I'm obligated to play my own. This is quite an infectious beat, and is it called flow? If you're referring to the vocals, then technically yes. The Memphis hip-hop scene has a very stylistic triplet flow to what they do. Anyway, here's mine, but I'm gonna have to turn the quality down to 240, sorry.
Tommy right on the creek with that bucket sawed off. Tommy pop the clip into the palm, played it 44. Tommy right, I creep at night. Posse deep is how I creep. Tommy right on the creek with that bucket sawed off. Tommy pop the clip into the palm, played it 44. Tommy right, I creep at night. Posse deep is how I creep. Tommy right on the creek with that bucket sawed off. Tommy pop the clip into the palm, played it 44. Tommy right, I creep at night. Tommy right, I creep at night. Tommy right on the creek. Tommy right on the creek. Tommy right, I creep at night. Posse deep is how I creep. Tommy pop the clip into the palm, played it 44. Kicking it with TW.
I'm kicking it with TW. What a song to come back to. But yeah, so that was our fun little diversion for the night, was Tommy Wright. Tommy Wright III is actually still alive, and he also still lives in Memphis. He's also still performing and still making music. It is very unfortunate that he's survived a lot of the people he came up with, like Gangsta Boo, like Princess Loco, but I'm happy he is still with us. The Memphis hip-hop scene, especially the horrorcore side of it, is definitely a place fraught with a lot of peril. Look no further than guys like Big Lurch, rest in peace. Horrorcore was an interesting time, but there's a reason it's my favorite type of genre to listen to and produce. And this is actually still relevant, because the song that I was talking about earlier, Monochromatic, that's by Suicide Boys, and they are an act that takes a lot of influence from the Memphis hip-hop scene, despite being two guys from New Orleans, Louisiana. The love of Southern hip-hop, especially places like Memphis and Texas, continues to permeate all. I never personally really was a big fan of the Atlanta scene. Listen, I like Lil Jon, I like the Yin Yang Twins, I'll even swallow my pride and say that I like Future and a little bit of Designer. But generally speaking, like, much of the Atlanta scene and even a lot of the FLA scene did not jive with me. I don't like Rick Ross. I don't care if he's from Carroll City. I don't give a fuck. I don't like Rick Ross. And I also don't like anybody in the Atlanta scene that much. But Houston absolutely clears. Houston has always cleared. Memphis is where the groundwork was laid, and Houston kind of continued to carry it into the 2000s with the onset of Swishahouse. Looking at you, Slim Thug. The first rapper I ever really liked was actually Slim Thug, and I think he's out of Houston, isn't he? So was DJ Screw. I understand this is kind of me getting into the weeds about the culture of hip-hop, but hip-hop is a style of music that I'm really, really into. I produce it for a reason. And the horrorcore style of it is my favorite because it's the one that understands that a lot of the things that people talk about doing in hip-hop, like, say, kidnapping and mugging and killing people, are things that are already just things slasher villains do anyway. So why not just kind of cut out the middleman and just, you know, fucking, like, why not just cut out the fucking middleman and just decide to put a horror spin on it? Why not just open up your mixtape going, or why not like talk about, why not talking about, you know, fucking...
Toretto, pay attention. You've got a tail.
Allie's Caf... Oh, shit. Oh, shit. Oh, Jesus. Oh, Christ. We've been raided. We've had our first raid tonight. And...
Sascha, get down. You're surrounded.
We're having our first raid tonight, and I haven't even gotten to the game yet. I've spent an hour talking about loneliness and Memphis hip-hop. Hi, Ziggy. Can we get a shout out for Ziggy Virus VT, please? Ziggy, welcome on in. Thank you so much for rating me. I am too much Sascha, the Chernobyl battle maid. I cook, I clean, I kill, and I am unfortunately... Oh. Nice, a moonlight. I am unfortunately under the thumb of the United Nations. It fucking sucks. But I'm not doing any of those things. I play video games here on stream, mostly horror and shooters. And also, when I'm not doing any of those things, I'm apparently in the bar talking for an hour about 3-6 Mafia, and depression. Which I suppose is still kind of on brand for my channel. But hi, Ziggy, tell me all about what you were doing and how it went. Thank you for trusting your community with me. I promise they're in good hands. If you have to raid and run, don't sweat it, but if you'd like, I'd love to know more about what you were doing. Anybody in my chat who is not presently following Ziggy, what the fuck are you doing? And it's good to see you all. But yes, you raided me in right as I was spending about a good 30 minutes talking about kind of the way that streaming can be lonely in its own way, and talking about how that sort of takes a toll on you sometimes, and how if I view streaming like touring, sometimes it does kind of feel a little bit like Adam's song to close up shop and then kind of climb into an empty bed at night. But regardless, I also spend a lot of time here talking about the Tommy Wright I Creep at Night meme, and then of course from there talking about my love of southern horror hip-hop, like say Ghetto Boys, 3-6 Mafia, and more. We got to my favorite part of Legacy of Kain Defiance. That sounds nice. Allie's Cafe says, a fellow maid, huh? Abso-fucking-lutely, I am a battle maid. I am a Chernobyl battle maid. A totally not brainwashed battle maid. I don't know where anybody could have gotten that idea from. We're actually, I should be playing Stalker right now, and as such, I will be. Mind Playing Tricks on Me is, oh god, that song kills me. Oh yeah, no, Mind Playing Tricks on Me is so good. Fucking sit in my room all night looking at candles. Yo, that shit is on. Candlesticks in the dark, visions of bodies being burned. So yes, I was talking about horrorcore hip-hop, but I am supposed to be playing Stalker, and I'm actually going to get to that right now that you've rated me. And good thing that you did too, because now all of the people who just joined in can see all those dope-ass fucking interludes I worked so hard on. So we're going to put a pin in the Memphis hip-hop talk for just a second, because right now, I am presently getting... Hold on a second. The fuck is my shit? We're gonna pretend that didn't just happen. There we go. Right now, I am presently getting a fucking... I'm apparently getting a call, and...
You and Reigns know your ROE. Now lock and load. Do try not to get brainwashed again.
I just told you about the fucking... Oh.
Alright. You win this time, Muller. That's fine. It's fine. Can't wait to record my alert. Yeah, I still gotta write it. I've been so fucking busy doing all of the shit. I'll tell you what I've been busy with, chat. Ziggy and Amanda and a couple other people here know. But I have some very, very exciting plans because I'm going to be doing a nice big expansion of my merch lineup for the spring season. There's going to be a lot. There's going to be a lot, and I think you're all going to like what's going to be there. But there's going to be something on there that is less for the hardcore heads and more for the people who are at the gun ranges. And I think my homies with rifles are going to love it. I think my homies with handbags are going to love it. So I'm excited for that, but, sorry, wink wink nod nod, it's a secret until the time to announce it actually happens. But if you're excited to maybe one day have something you can put on a gun, then do stick around. Because at any rate, it should be maybe no more than 2 or 3 weeks before it's all ready for prime time. And I can't wait to show it off along with everything else I've been working on. Muller, I got the banhammer right here for you. The lovely reactions, the lovely split in reactions between, like, what is it? Fucking, like, some people are like, oh, Muller, my beloved, and some others are like, holy shit, I fucking hate her. It's good. I appreciate that. That's the whole point of Muller as a character. She's the character that you hate to love and you love to hate. She's my handsome Jack, unfortunately, I guess you'd have to put it. The hammer is what I call the Himars I found on this side of the road. No, that's so real. Look, alright, I don't understand what Muller's fucking infatuation is with me. I don't know why she seems to think I'm such a big deal, but I really wish she'd leave me the fuck alone. I wish she'd stop calling me her bloodhound and stop telling me that she owns me, and I'd really wish she'd stop fucking telling me what to do and threatening to tell people really not true and bad things about me if I didn't agree to do it. But alas, unfortunately, I'm trapped in the grip of blackmail. You should just... Oh, Jesus, dude, I don't even want to think about that kind of thing. What? I mean, yeah, of course you would have it. Muller's a hideously horny woman, but Jesus fucking Christ, dog. I didn't know it was that bad. The worst thing ever that you can be is useful to bad people. The worst thing you could be is useful to bad people. And the only thing worse than that is being useful to bad people who are also extremely horny in terrifying ways. And unfortunately, Muller is that. If you can help it, chat, don't get blackmailed by an insane lesbian psychopath who runs a branch of the government. You really don't want that. It sucks. I'm not a fan of it. And I really don't like when she calls me her puppy. Anyway, hi, Birdie. Good to see you. What did you come in on? I don't even know how to describe it. Me venting about my boss. Me venting about the fact that I really, really don't like having to work for Muller. She seems to think that I'm such a lucky gal for being her bloodhound, and she seems to think that she's doing me a favor, but I really don't fucking get it. What are you gonna do? Terrifying and horny is a truly scary combo. That woman is, and when you... When you open up the dictionary to the word lesbian disaster, I think a picture of Muller should be there. Don't worry, the Stalker streams are chill. Hey, this is technically still more chill than, say, most of my co-hosted streams. I did spend the first hour talking about loneliness and depression. We're working on extracting you. Your paperwork kept ending up in the dead letters department at the FBC. Yeah, I don't know why that would keep happening. That's really curious. It's a little bit strange. I wonder what's the cause of that. I'm sure it's nothing. I'm sure it's nothing. Well, I've got business with Drupalop. He's a guy all the way out in the fucking chemical plant area again. Anyway, I'm armed to the teeth, and I might as well get moving. The RE stream was pretty chill, actually, except for that one part when Lav came in and talked about knowing people who burned out multiple Hitachi wands, and I, with absolutely zero hesitation, went, well, I've owned one for a decade, and... oh. Whoops. That was a good bit, though. R&D is looking into it. Yeah, I don't really know what's going on with that. For some reason, nobody seems to be able to place me in terms of, like, an identity thing. Like, I keep saying, oh, I'm Sascha Ferretto, here's so-and-so and so, and then they keep saying, why don't we have you on record for anything? Why don't we have you on record for anything? And they're like, well, we don't have any proof of you actually living in New Jersey where you supposedly lived. And I say, well, I mean, You're telling me there's, like, no record, nothing? Like, not whatsoever? Like, no blood records, no fingerprints on file, nothing? It's just all gone? And they're like, yeah, we keep trying to look, and apparently it looks like everything's been expunged by some type of, some organization calling themselves Graphitech. And I'm like, well, who the fuck is that? And they're like, I don't know, but it's a little bit spooky. I don't know if I fuck with it. But it kind of gets annoying because every single time I want something shipped to me, they keep saying we can't place you in any type of international database. Every time I keep saying, hey, can I put my name in for this? They're like, we can't seem to prove that you even exist as a person. We ran afoul of the Bratva looking for that. Uh-oh. Is it? I got a bad fucking feeling about that. It's not who I think it is it? Please tell me it's not who I think it is. I'm really not trying to deal with that right now. Look, I only know 2 different chapters of the Bratva, the one that's here in the zone, and they know to keep afoul of me. And there's another chapter that I've been hearing a little bit about, and they're a little bit too interested in me, and I'm really not vibing with it. But I just don't really like trying to actually, you know, like, have myself attached to any kind of clerical thing and constantly being told that it's, oh, well, we can't really prove you exist for some reason. There's no records of you and this and this and this. And I'm like, well, that's fucking weird. And the worst part is, you know, even when we get past that and I say, well, maybe you can just register me now. Here's my fingerprints. Here's my blood. I've done this like 5 different times with a bunch of different organizations. I basically had to register myself as an existing human being about 5 times, complete with having to give blood samples, fingerprints, face ID, and also I've had to just completely recite my full name over and over again. It's quite a dehumanizing process. I don't really vibe with it, but I have to do it so duty doesn't shoot me on sight. I have to do it so freedom don't hotbox me on sight. And I also have to do it so the mercenaries don't notice me when I'm creeping up on them. It's quite a nauseating process. But the worst part is after all of that, after I go to all the effort to say, hey, look, I know all of my personal identification records seem to be completely gone, and nobody can prove that I've ever existed, because anything related to anything proving that I lived in New Jersey apparently has been erased by some type of shadowy corporation that nobody can even really seem to get any information on. Outside of all of that, it's really weird because every time I try to do something, they look at that tattoo that I have on my arm and they keep saying, oh, well, we can't really let you in anymore. And I'm like, well, what the fuck? Why not? Be like, oh, you know, sorry, Miss Ferretto. Well, you know, we don't have any like proper identification. We don't have any clerical records of you. We can't let you in. I'm like, all right, we'll create some clerical records. Okay, cool. They let me in as soon as they look at the tattoo on my arm. When they go to take the blood sample, as soon as they've created some clerical records for me, they immediately have to delete them. And they say, we need you to leave right now because you're a major security risk. And I'm starting to think maybe something might be up here, because it's starting to become a little bit more than just a coincidence, where every time they get a look at that tattoo, they start saying, I'm sorry, ma'am, we need you to sit right here, and then I wait around for a couple of minutes saying, well, maybe they're finally going to put me on file, and then a bunch of guys with guns come in, and they tell me, yeah, I have 30 seconds to leave the premises or they'll shoot me on sight. Worst case, we can forge the paperwork. I'd appreciate that, and I hope you guys don't have an issue with my tattoo, because for some reason, everybody seems to think it's a fucking problem. And I'm like, what, is it just really bad fashion? I don't get it. I don't remember getting this tattoo. I woke up with it. But everyone seems to think it's some real fucking bad mojo, and no one wants to tell me why. Gonna lurk from here on out until something happens at work? No worries, Lily. Good to see you. You're only a security risk if they have a skill issue. I suppose I could take that as an insult, but I won't. Oh. Hold up, I know just what to do. Hey, what's up, Gopniks? Don't worry about me. I'm fine. Don't worry about me. Oh! You ever run through broken glass to get away from a monster? It's surprisingly common here in the zone. But it's weird. It's just weird that everyone keeps, like, you know, like, kind of getting annoyed at every time they see it, and they go from being really excited to see me, you know, hi, Miss Ferretto, it's good to, you know, it's good to finally meet you, we've heard so much about you, and then they look at the tattoo and they're like, oh, I see why now, and then they just don't want to talk to me anymore. I've been kicked out of bars, I've been kicked out of squads, I've been taken off mailing lists, I've even had people block me on Spotify. I didn't even know you could do that, but apparently they do. So, and the worst part, too, is that Mueller consistently holds it over my head. She said, I'll tell everybody you have this tattoo, and I'll tell everybody why you have it. And I'm like, bitch, even I don't fucking know why I have it. What's the goddamn deal? But apparently whatever it means is some pretty bad shit that I shouldn't want people to know, because they all get really annoyed when they see it, and Mueller insists that if I don't work for her, she's going to tell everybody what it means. And I'm really not trying to get put on more shoot-on-sight lists, so I guess I'm kind of just going to have to... I guess I'm just kind of going to have to be good. Melissa, good to see you as well tonight. Hope you're doing nicely. Always happy to see you up in chat, homie. Oh, here. Here, okay. Now, I've been here a couple of times, and I never figured out what it was supposed to be. You will never listen to my shitty playlist again. Yeah. Yeah, thank God Reigns hasn't blocked me on her Spotify. No. We did that, that's, you know, I'm so happy. I'm so happy I still have to listen to Reigns' fucking post-grunge. What did you show up to? I'm talking about why Mueller, I'm talking about my boss. I'm talking about my boss, and I'm talking about some unfortunate circumstances. Alright, well, punch it. It's not even the post-grunge. Yeah, like, the post-grunge isn't even the worst part. Like, I'm with Puddle of Mud, I'm just not with the hot action cop. I'm not with the... everything else. Oh, Christ, dude. If the worst thing that ever happened... If the worst thing that ever happened was still having to run more suicide missions for Mueller, I could still probably be okay with it. But the worst shit is when I come back and she decides to reward me. I can't even talk about that on Twitch, but it's fucking bad. I guess this is... You know, I came back here one time and I didn't actually know what I was supposed to do. Dios mio, maid. Yeah, you said it, homie. Like I said, don't get blackmailed by a lesbian disaster who runs a branch of the government. You don't want it. You don't want it. It's not fun. It sucks. But, much as it kind of kills my all or nothing, you know, badass with nothing to lose kind of image, I don't want to die. So I do kind of have to roll with it sometimes. And I do have to go out and do whatever the fuck she says. Even if it means killing people who really, really don't deserve it. Because like I said, I'm not trying to die, and I'm certainly not trying to get smeared before I die. So I guess I just gotta pretend it's all good. Man, and I used to think that fucking, I used to think that acute radiation poisoning and almost dying a little bit north of Pripyat and, you know, being hunted by mercs and hearing voices in my head was the worst it could ever get. But I hadn't met fucking Mueller. Guess it can always get worse, but, you know, maybe sometime in the future it can get a little bit better.
Давай сюди. Новенький чи що? Чи я тебе не запам'ятав? От була у мене незабутня людина. Соловей звали.
Nightingale was that?
Ferretto,
Ooh, nice.
Pay attention. You've got a tail.
Thank you for the follow, Cuddly Clover. Right, Nightingale was the guy at the very beginning of the game, right? Like, he's the guy who wanted to get the collars for this guy. And then he died. So...
А я щодо чого ти? Перша у мене безоплатна.
Anyway, stand down, Reigns. I don't need to worry about a tail. This one's friendly.
Пляшку візьми у моїй лабораторії. Там, покорить.
Okay. Well, you know, I was wondering when we'd eventually get to the point in the story where we can actually hand over all the fucking collars I keep finding on mutants, because I had like 5 of them at some point, and I was supposed to give him to Hamster, but Nightingale kept talking about some kind of scientist I was supposed to give him to, and I guess, well, here he is, so... Can I work for these guys instead of Muller? Can I work for these guys, please? Because I'm like, at least these guys are paying me, and at least they seem to kind of respect me to a degree.
У мене запасна є.
Who are you? Never mind. Who the fuck is he talking to? Magic vodka? Wait, what was that, huh?
Ну що ж. Нумо дегустувати товар.
Hey, Sasha, be careful. Looks like someone's following you.
Nate
Want me to
Smith, thank
take
you
care
so
of
much
them?
for the follow. No, don't worry, Kelly. I got this one. Thank you for the follow. Welcome to the Pripyat City Hate Crew. Hope you're doing well tonight.
Кому?
We all love some moonshine.
За якою ціною?
You know, I've never tried moonshine, but I did try moonshine cherries, and they were, oh, I like, sniffed it and coughed. Well, you know what? Every time I play a Stalker game, it feels rude to talk to anybody about anything that's important to their past without drinking. I played Call of Pripyat. I had to deal with Cardin and his bullshit. So let's drink before we get to business, shall we?
Ну давай. За співпрацю.
Here's to a steady hand. Here's to our common goal. Damn, that shit must bite if he's doing that.
Навіть не скривися. Мене таке пацаняче.
Oh, we're gonna have to do a we're gonna have to go shot for shot with this guy to learn anything. All right, so this is less Cardin and more Zulu then.
Так, а про що ми там? Ще по одній?
Yeah, let's do it again.
Ну давай ще по одній.
Toss another one back. You wanna go? You wanna go? Let's go, motherfucker.
Добре.
Listen, there's one thing I know.
Ну, а щодо нашийників?
I've had a moonshine share. That shit was like cough syrup and paint thinner. I know some people who would immediately be sold on that idea, I have to say.
Перспективний був проєкт. Тут його і пом'янемо. Ну, випиймо, сталкере.
What project?
Про який проект ти говориш?
Так я ж сказав, повідець. Проєкт контролю мутантів. Наліпили купу потвор.
Okay.
Тоді створили інструменти, щоб керувати ними.
So some of these mutants are intentionally engineered. They're not just accidents created by the noosphere.
Останнім, як ти розумієш,
Some of these were made on purpose.
після заморозки проєкту всі мутанти у нашийниках мали б померти.
There's more of them in this game than there were in fucking Stalker, and since nothing seems to continuously be making them, how are there more now than there were then after over a decade?
От такий був перспективний проєкт.
Promises are made to be broken, I suppose. Rules aren't, but promises are.
Знаряддя
Everything that is created is designed to end. I played Nier Automata a week ago.
сталкере.
You are on that plate. That's unfortunate.
П'ємо. Звісно.
За концептуальним
Abstract thinking. This really is a Slavic video game.
А якщо людина міра всього, то міра
This feels like the actual shots I took right before watching Donnie Darko.
цієї чарівної горілки. Тож, давай...
The measure of man is 3 shots of vodka.
Добрий.
Look, I tanked like half a Moscow Mule and 3 shots of scotch, and I could still walk straight. Skip is a fucking lightweight, I'm sorry.
Впоратись з тим, хто створює наведення ілюзії.
You know, he looks like my Uncle Tony. That's funny.
Так це від горілки пальоної. Мою бери. Вона допомагає не лише від радіації.
Я був тверезий, коли бачив...
No, you were not, Skiff. When we did that mission, I was kicking back vodka like Prohibition was about to get past the next day.
Неможливо. Але хто я, щоб забороняти тобі жити в ілюзіях? Ну, якщо так хочеться, пхай дупу до X5.
The suppressor.
Де весь цей цирк робився, і шукай там креслення придушувача. Він має допомогти тобі.
You did shots of scotch? Well, okay, I did one of scotch, one of bourbon, and one of whiskey, I think.
Вручу тобі ключ карт.
I was like, okay, so what happened was I was eating my dinner, and it was a Moscow Mule, and I got about halfway through it, I want to say, and then after that, I think I had one shot of whiskey, one shot of scotch, and one shot of bourbon. Because I was kind of just sampling it. I wanted to just try a lot of booze I don't normally drink. And the general thing is I was just trying different, like, shots. And obviously, probably because I was having my scotch, in a shot instead of on the rocks, you know, I should get some scotch. I should get some scotch and have it on the rocks. I'm really trying to be more careful about alcohol, though. But if it's any consolation, especially because I used to fucking sit around and day drink Mike's Hard while playing Evil Within at like 3 p.m. And also make hard pina coladas around 5 p.m. I was never an alcoholic, but, you know, I did used to be able to hold my liquor pretty good. What the fuck? Alright, well, I guess I can't because I just broke a glass, but... Anyway, the point is, I need to drink really fast or just straight up don't get drunk. Yeah, some of us just hold our liquor pretty good. Like, my vision was a little bit blurry and I was kind of, like, dizzy, but I could still, you know... I could still, Oh. Oh, hey, I got it.
Оце ти, сталкери, меткий. А ключ-картку від X5 я таки віддав Щелбі.
But I used to be pretty good at holding my liquor to the point where I had basically, you know, like 3 different shots of like harder liquor in one, you know, like half of a fucking Moscow Mule. I was pretty okay. I was pretty okay, all things considered.
Ближче до X5. Ну?
The most drunk I've been is yappy and dizzy. That was me. That was me too. Okay, so we gotta go find a guy at the Ahrorprom area. I've been to Ahrorprom. I know it's there, so I should be fine. I know that area like the back of my fucking hand. But anyway. So, I used to be able to hold my liquor pretty well, and all that happened was I got a little bit dizzy and my vision got a little bit blurred, and then I just went home and watched Donnie Darko and talked a lot about it. Donnie Darko, not the worst movie you could watch while drunk, especially if it's a movie that, like me, you love to death and could talk for hours about. I have been around people who were, like, totally piss drunk, though, and I wouldn't recommend it. It actually kind of fucking sucks. Because I was around one friend who pre-gamed while he was in my car with me. He was also not of legal drinking age, by the way, and I didn't know that the Coke bottle he brought into my car had fucking rum in it. And then as soon as we actually got to my friend Mo's place, he grabbed a bottle of Captain Morgan's and just started taking a swig. So then later on that night, he was already kind of, like, very, like, fucking, like, getting really, like, yappy and everything, and then by the time we actually got back to Mo's house, we were about to sit down to watch RoboCop when it all fucking kicked in, and he was fucking throwing up everywhere. Sucked ass. He felt really bad about ruining a hangout with me, but I wasn't mad about that. I just kind of, like, wished he was a little bit more responsible, you know? Oh, hey. This poor son of a bitch got it. Anyway, Anyway, the point being is that I used to drink a lot more, and basically after 2020, or I want to say 2021, I haven't drank since. And I'm not really keen on drinking up again, because it's not that I've ever been an alcoholic, it's that I don't really want to leave open the possibility for that to happen. I'm fairly responsible with some of my vices, but I know I'm also very easy to get addicted to certain things. And I know that given an opening, with how easily I can be addicted to things, and also how easily I fall into certain mind states that can be very harmful to you if you happen to have access to an addictive vice, I don't really want to leave open... I really don't want to leave open the likelihood to allow myself to get, you know, to become an alcoholic. I don't want to allow myself even the possibility of getting into the habit. Jesus Christ, what a way to go. Can I not break it? Oh. Huh. Curious. I guess I just can't break this one. Oh. Alright, fuck it. I guess I can't break this one. Whatever. So, it's not that I have been an alcoholic or that I even really think I could be one. I just don't want to open the opportunity for that to happen. And thusly, meanwhile, we're just blowing up some dead guy's body. Fuck it. He doesn't need his body anymore, does he? But, to that end, it's why I haven't really drank since about 2020, and I've been sober, for the better part of the last 5 years, and I feel pretty proud of that. But, I do want to be able to get, like, okay with occasionally recreationally drinking again. It does mean I would technically be breaking edge, and I wouldn't be straight edge anymore, because I've been fully straight edge since, you know, 2021. And granted, I'd never done any substances before anyway. I've never smoked weed, I've never popped any pills, I've never done any of these things. And it's not that I did it. It's not like it was like, oh, you know, I did this because I specifically, because I wanted to make the choice of not doing them. It was just because I didn't really want, I just didn't really want to do it. I didn't really like the idea of it. I never smoked weed because 1, I don't like the smell, 2, I don't like the sensation of smoking, and 3, I find it very likely that I'd be an incredibly anxious and paranoid person. I would probably be like the worst person to add to a blunt rotation. And I don't really want to do that. I have never popped pills or done any kind of, like, you know, like, I've been to places where people are passing around, say, like, K and X and everything, and I don't do them, because well, in most of these cases, whenever I go to clubs or raves, I'm the one who's driving home, and I'm not really trying to be the one driving home on X or K, so I don't take them, even when I'm offered. I never smoke, because I don't like the sensation of smoking. Never vaped, because I couldn't get my hands on a vape when I wanted to try one, because they raised the legal age of cigarettes and nicotine and tobacco from 18 to 21 that year. And good thing they did, otherwise I would have tried vaping, and it probably would have ruined my life looking at what we know about vapes now. Never done wax dabs, never done any benzos, or uppers or downers, or perks, or Adderall, or anything. I have quite literally never done anything. And again, it's not like, oh, you know, I'm so cool because I never did these things. It's because I'm an extremely paranoid person who does not trust herself to be, in any way responsible, or, I guess, like, calm around any type of substance. I don't trust myself to not do something that I would regret. I don't trust myself to not fumble something. I would just generally be a rather unpersonable person. on any substance, so I just don't leave that opportunity open. I've just never smoked weed because I'm not trying to get paranoid. Never dusted or done any coke because I already have a deviated septum. I'm not trying to make it worse. I just fear the side effects more than anything else. So make of that what you will. I pride myself on being a responsible drinker, Sis Angel. As do I. I feel pretty good about picking it back up again because, not for nothing, but I've made it clear that one of my big plans for when I come back, for when I do, my, what is it? One of my big plans for when I do my, like, streamerversary in May, to celebrate about 5 straight years of streaming, or no, not 5. It's been 5 years of consistent streaming from back in January of 2021, but as of this May, I will have been on Twitch and streaming in some capacity or another since 2018. Which is a long fucking time. But when I do my streamerversary, I'm planning on making and drinking and showing everybody how to make the Sascha Temple. Which, for those who don't know, is when I was on Irisu Neo's Poison Points talk show, and I was presented with the question of if you could have any drink named after yourself or, you know, here in this bar, what would it be? And I said, the Sascha Temple. And the Sascha Temple is basically if you combined a Moscow Mule with a Shirley Temple. It is a mixture of ginger beer, vodka, and grenadine. And also a maraschino cherry if you want to get really fancy about it. But it's literally just the bastard child of a Shirley Temple and a Moscow Mule. You could also call it a Pripyat Mule. At one point I called it a Shirley Culture House. Well, you could have it with ginger ale, but I actually prefer a ginger beer. I prefer it being a little bit more bitter while ginger ale is fairly sweet. Originally, when I used to just make like a Shirley Temple with just ginger beer and grenadine, I used to call it a Shirley Monastery, as opposed to a Shirley Temple made with ginger ale or Sprite. I used to call it the Shirley Monastery, but so a Sascha Temple is just ginger beer, vodka, and grenadine, and a maraschino cherry. It's nice. I actually like it a lot. But on my streamerversary, I am going to be making and drinking one and showing chat how to make one. And the Shirley Nunnery. There's a Madeline reference to be made here somewhere. Me, when I get to the bottom of the Shirley Nunnery, that's all there is. There isn't any more. Haven't had any ginger beer other than Bundaberg, and that one's fairly sweet. I don't mind Bundaberg at all. Bundaberg's okay, actually. One of my favorite songs is actually named after Bundaberg. It's a song by Stepson called Bundaberg. They're like a screamo melodic hardcore band out of, I think, Melbourne, Australia. Great band, love them. Either Melbourne or Sydney. I'd have to go talk to my Australian friends, including one that claims to not claim Sydney. Make of that what you will. She told me that Sydney is their Toronto, which is interesting. But anyway, so when I do my
eyes up, Bloodhound, you've been spotted.
Thank you, Pickle, for the follow. Welcome to the Hate Crew. So when I do my streamerversary, I am planning on showing everybody how to make a Shirley Temple, and I am planning on drinking a Sascha Temple. And I am planning on drinking a Sascha Temple on stream. Now, Angel here, who prides herself on being a responsible drinker, is going to be my my spotter for this. I have assured her that while I have never had a binge drinking incident, I've never had a drunken crash out, I've never gotten drunk enough to even have trouble walking. I also have not drank in many years, and as such, my alcohol tolerance is likely to be a little bit lower than it was. As such, I am probably going to be a little bit easier to get tipsy than normal. And I have never been the type of person where when I was drunk, As soon as I saw that my eyes were getting blurry, I knew to stop. I, again, have never been drunk myself. I've never gotten plastered, or I've never blacked out. I've been good about it. But, like I said, I don't really particularly like to open things to chance. So, as much as I love them, I think they're a lovely rat, I don't like leaving things open to them all the time. So, the plan is when I do my streamversary, and I, you know, make up a Sascha temple and show everybody how to make it. Plan is, as soon as I make it, I am going to pour up a single beer... Jesus, that's a rotten way to fucking go. Holy shit. I'm going to make a single beer stein full of a Sascha temple. I am then going to give my bottle of Stoli to Nyx. That is the vodka I'm going to be using to make it, by the way. I'm going to be using a bottle of Stoli, and as soon as I'm done making a Sascha temple, I'm going to hand that bottle of Stoli to Nyx. I'm going to say, take this, and keep it. And she will probably be doing that, and I will say, no matter what happens, don't let me have this bottle. I don't have any reason to believe that I will give her any trouble. I don't have any reason to believe I'm going to fight her on it, because that's never happened before. I have a good record with booze, but I'm just being careful. Especially if I'm going to be on a live stream, rather than just drinking in my, you know, living room with my partner. If I'm going to be on a live stream, I'd like to make sure that I'm not, that I'm being as responsible and rigid about this as I can. So, as soon as I make up my Sascha temple, I will be handing the bottle off to Nyx. I will say, keep this, and then I will drink it over the course of the stream. And if Angel decides that I have had too much and I am not, I'm completely, you know, unintelligible, she will cut me off and probably have Nyx take that away from me too. But again, I don't want this to make it sound like this is a thing that could happen, because I don't think it will. It never has. Never has, and I didn't even drink that much when I did drink. But it's good to be careful. Yeah, you can never really be too careful with things like alcohol. Weed is one thing. Weed is a very different thing. I've actually been around someone who's had a green out before. When I have never done weed and didn't know what a green out was. I really can't recommend it. It fucking sucked, actually. Because I was just kind of trying to show off how I could play a riff on my bass, and my homie was having like an existential crisis, and I had no fucking clue what to do. Which is kind of part of why I also don't really like being around people who are on substances to a degree. I tend to get fairly anxious or unpersonable if I'm around somebody who's really, really under the influence, because I don't know what to do. It's hard to keep up a conversation with someone who's like I've been in calls with multiple people who are like really, really zooted. It's impossible to get a word in edgewise. I've been around people who are plastered, and I just want to fucking go home. So, you know, I don't have a good time around people who are super, like, under the influence of anything. So, I don't plan on putting chat through that. You play bass? In this instance, played. I did used to play bass. I had a simple 4-string Silvertone was my starter. And, down the line, I ended up equipping myself with a Ibanez Soundgear 205. A really nice little 4-string that I gave some very, very thick hex core strings to. Some very thick hex core strings too, and well, I ended up actually selling it to my good friend Sel. And instead, after she took that off of my hands, the space in my room that it used to take up is now being taken up by a Fender Squier Telecaster. Also, good to see you tonight, Mal. By the way, Ziggy, your headmate is named Mal, but this is the other Mal. This is Malachite OS in chat. So when I say Mal, I'm most likely going to be referring to Not Awful here. Good to see you tonight, Mal. But yeah, so I used to have an Ibanez, and I used to use her mainly to play a lot of a lot of metalcore and new metal, so I would play like a lot of Korn, a lot of Slipknot and Limp Bizkit, a lot of Biohazard and Hatebreed and everything like that. And then as soon as I switched it out, I got a Fender Squier Telecaster, which I now use to primarily play folk rock, post-punk, and some shoegaze and emo. But I obviously, you can see my music tastes have mellowed out a fair bit. So I used to like playing a lot of new metal, like my Ibanez. I specifically bought it because most of the new metal bands I grew up listening to all had Ibanezes. Shavo Odagian had an Ibanez, Ryan Martin of Mudvayne had an Ibanez, Sam Rivers of Limp Bizkit, Paul Gray of Slipknot, and also to a lesser extent Reggie in the Full Effect, all had Ibanez basses. You name yourself like an influential new metal band, the bassist probably had an Ibanez sound gear. Even Disturbed and Cold Chamber to a lesser extent. So I got an Ibanez, and I never actually got it set up in a lower tuning. So, oh right, ooh, nice pull, a fly trap. Mal, you should try the artifact gotcha while you're here tonight. But I also forgot to mention Fieldy from Korn. Reginald Fieldy Arvizu of Korn, another big influence of mine. But I remember my effects chain was fairly simple. It was in,
Sascha, get down. You're surrounded.
Jesus. Oh, Christ. Hikari Sentinel, thank you so much for the follow. Let me give you that shout out real quick. Give me a moment, everybody. Hi. Hikari, it's wonderful to see you. Welcome on in. Thank you so much for the raid. Thank you for trusting your community with me. I promise they're in good hands. Tell me all about what you were doing and how it went. If you got a raid and run though, no sweat, we will be here. For all of our new chatters, welcome on in. I'm Too Much Sascha, the Chernobyl battle maid. I cook, I clean, I kill, and I'm also being blackmailed by the UN. When I'm not doing any of those things, I'm on stream playing Twitch. On Twitch, playing spooky shooty games, or talking for an hour about Memphis hip-hop, in the case of earlier this stream. It's good to see all of you, and if we have anybody in my chat who's not already following my good friend Hikari here, please go do so. He's a wonderful friend who has nothing but love for what he does, an incredibly cohesive aesthetic, extremely cozy vibes on stream, and I'm also going to be taking him to task this Sunday in our next BTM racing event, where we're going to be doing some JDM racing. Japanese domestic market street racing with the rest of our the official racing team of the Hate Crew, that being Blown Tranny Motorsports. It's going to be great. Angel is also going to be there doing commentation with our good friend Rody Tripp, so tune in for that. How's it going? I tried out Screamer and it was interesting. The story so far was enjoyable, but the handling model is very hit or miss depending on the car you pick. I actually don't know what Screamer is, so please tell me how it is and what it's about while I get back to game now. I've basically been just playing Stalker. The first hour of stream was me talking about loneliness and depression and also Memphis hip-hop. And then here we are playing Stalker, and I'm kind of just talking about music, I guess, again. But so I remember the effects chain of my Ibanez sound gear pretty simply. It was an Ibanez sound gear with a basic Behringer bass driver DI box after it. If memory serves, I had a... So I liked that all of my pedals were kind of themed. I had an echo and delay pedal, which I mainly used on my synths, but for my bass, it was a Behringer bass driver DI box. Very simple, and I mainly got it because a friend of mine named Attila, who was at the time doing touring bass for a Las Vegas band called Purity, he showed me his bass. I was like, damn, dude, your bass tone's really good. How'd you get it? And he's like, oh, it's this fucking Behringer DI box, and that's it. It was honestly a really good pedal. For like a lot of people used to rip on Behringer back in the day, but like honestly, like it was pretty decent bang for your buck for a really affordable price. The bass driver DI was a really, really good start, and it was really good. And after that, I had a bass distortion pedal, which I believe was called the Holy War. It was called the Holy War. And it was a really, really nice little bass distortion pedal. Had a really nice amount of crunch to it. Sounded fucking beautiful. I loved her. I miss her, actually. And And then after that, I had a fuzz pedal, which I think was called the broadsword. So you can see where the theming is. I had my fucking Ibanez and my bass driver DI box. But then after that, I had the Holy War and the broadsword. It felt cool. It felt cool to show it off. Like, here's my fucking arsenal, dog. But honestly, as much as I loved playing like hardcore and new metal, I had a lot of fun trying to play sludgy stuff, like more kind of like groovy bass lines and shit, because hooking up the like fuzz and distortion to this thing and just like rattling out a really good groovy kind of bass line was, oh, it was fucking disgusting. It was beautiful. Like, the song Silver Lights by Coconuts off of the Hotline Miami soundtrack, have you ever actually played that bass line? Like hooked up like a really nice like bass guitar with like some thick fucking hex core strings, hooked it up with like a distortion and a fuzz pedal, and played the bass line of Silver Lights by Coconuts. It's better than sex, dude. It's amazing. But the problem was that I never actually got my bass set up in a lower tuning. I had strings that were designed to play like tunings as low as drop A. Like, I got the types of strings that deathcore bands use, and I tuned my bass low, but I'd never actually gotten it set up in a lower tuning. I'd never actually gotten it set up in a lower tuning. And because of that, the strings rattled a lot, which obviously, of course, kind of helped the vibe I was going for, you know, like, you know, fucking corn / whatever kind of vibe, because that was the sound I wanted. Is I wanted that really rattly, fucking, like, clunky kind of nu metal bass sound. And credit to me, I was able to get it pretty well, and I had a lot of fun playing songs. I played a lot of Spite, played a lot of Knocked Loose. It was fun, but and there is a reason why I didn't get it set up. I wanted to, but it was COVID. So I took I love telling this story, but I took it to 2 shops. I took my bass to 2 shops. One of them was a local shop. I brought it in, and because I asked them on Facebook Marketplace, hey, do you guys set up bass guitars? They said, yes, we do. I said, cool, I'm coming in with my Ibanez. Can you set her up in this lower tuning? Yeah, sure, on it. Bring it in, walk in, nobody is wearing a mask. And this is like fall of 2020, by the way. This is October of 2020. So keep that in mind here. So I say I was like, can you guys wear a mask while I'm in here? They say no, and I say I'm taking my bass and leaving, goodbye. They start making excuses. I just ate, I just brushed my teeth, I can't talk well with a mask on. I don't care. Goodbye. They realize that I'm the person who messaged them on Facebook Marketplace, and they keep trying to make excuses for me. I leave them on red. I then proceed to bring it to a different music shop that was like a little like hole-in-the-wall store between 2 different other stores on a main street. I walk in, sign on the front door says, if you don't wear a mask, you can't come in here. Non-negotiable. I say, oh, thank God. I walk in, it's this really nice old guy, and he's just chilling and playing his guitar, and I sit down with him. And I sit down with him and I say, I swear to God, this is the kind of scenario that you see happen in like music movies and like coming of age music movies and biopics and shit like that, where I just walk in and the guy's like, well, hey, what can I help you with? And I'm like, he's like, here, you know, sit down with me and, you know, let's play for a little bit while we talk about it. And I say, okay. I pull out my bass, we play a couple of simple chords, bass lines, and, you know, what have you. And we just talk about music. He shows me a couple of really nice little chords and progressions and melodies to play. And I say, well, you know, I'm looking to get my bass set up in this tuning, and I'm also looking for a tuning pedal, because I'm kind of, you know, my old snark thing that I used to put at the top of the neck, it's just not really working right anymore. It says, yeah, okay, you know, I'll do that for you. So, I come in, I ask about that. It's really funny, because, like, what ended up happening was, like, after we sit down and we yap for a little bit, I talk about music, I talk about a lot of the modern acts that I like, and he talks about a lot of the music he came up in. It really was this genuinely wonderful and kind of, like, magical little moment of connection of, like, I had just met this guy and he had just met me, but we were both just sitting down and being very honest and you know, really bearing everything about music we liked and our relationship with playing it. And it was lovely, but when I asked him, hey, you know, can I get my tuning, can I get my bass guitar set up in this tuning? And he just says, oh, well, I didn't even know that tuning existed. And I'm like, okay, so, can't do that. I was like, do you have a tuning pedal? Do you have a tuner pedal I can buy off of you? And he's like, oh, well, the only one we got's this one. He opens up the box and the tuning pedal doesn't work. And so I basically kind of went there for nothing, but I was like, well, I did sit down with you and, you know, play guitar and talk with you for like a good 20 minutes. I was like, can I at least give you some money for your time? Because it was nice and I liked it, but I feel like I at least should give you something because I did, you know, take up your time and you're running a business here. And he was like, no, it's really all right. And I'm like, well, okay then. And, you know, I left empty-handed and my bass didn't get set up and I ended up having to just buy me a tuner pedal off of Amazon, but I didn't care. It was a really, really enjoyable and lovely little experience of, you know, I was already kind of pissed off that morning from going to that earlier music shop where there were a bunch of anti-masking dickheads, and coming into this one and just seeing a guy who was really genuine about music and just wanted to sit down and have a talk with a youngin' was like, man, I don't give a fuck if I actually, like, if I left empty-handed. My heart didn't leave empty-handed. My soul didn't leave empty-handed. That's all that matters. I had a really fulfilling little experience of connection with a person. And, like, I ended up never getting the bass set up. I didn't care. I was happy like that. Think of the canteen sip, by the way, Hikari. I didn't care. So then when I got too busy to be able to play bass because I was working a coffee shop job, and I didn't really figure out that I could just run my bass. Oh, a sapphire. Not a bad first pick. Not a bad first pick. At least he didn't die. I'm really sorry, but it would have been really, really funny. It would have been really funny if the first thing that if your first pull was a death. Because I'm gonna let you in on that. It lets you pull one of 69 artifacts from Stalker 2 that all have a rarity assigned with their own, like, gotcha rarity icons, but there's a 1 in 70 chance to die and lose everything. I'm very proud of that. Soon I could try a pull, watch me die. So far, the first and only death on stream has been Nyx. But when it came time that I couldn't really play the bass anymore because I had a coffee shop job and I just was more focused on producing hip-hop, which, to my credit, I still am. I still prefer producing hip-hop over most styles of music. Producing hip-hop has been a very therapeutic thing for me. It's allowed me to get over a lot of my misgivings with producing EDM and more complex styles of music. It's a very zen thing to produce hip-hop. All of the dubstep and trap and drum and bass that I used to produce where sound design was such a major arms race and important part of your focus, it all kind of fell away, and now I can just loop a bunch of soul samples together and have a good time. But so I stopped playing bass because I started focusing on hip-hop. And then, you know, eventually my friend Zilly, who, you know, was one of my earliest and longest co-hosts on stream, I kind of wanted to get into regular guitar, so I hit him up and I said, do you have a guitar on you? And he said, sure. So he had an old Fender Squier Telly, and actually still has a really rugged strap that our good old, one of our youngest and longest friends used to have on it. It's been passed down to our friend group from him to Zilly to our friend Francis, you know, God rest their soul, to me. And I took it off Zilly's hands within, I think within the first, like, 2 minutes of him passing it off to me, I accidentally, how do I describe this in the least embarrassing way possible? I accidentally, while lifting it up to inspect the body, I let, like, the head of it get in range of a ceiling fan that immediately knocked a tuning peg off. So as soon as I brought it back home across the sound to my house, I did have to bring it to a local shop, and it took them about a week to actually order the tuning peg and get it all fixed up. But they did get it fixed up. Because, you know, I did have to say, you know, it's not like a regular, holy shit. Ooh, good pull, good pull. You know, I did have to specify, yes, it's a Squire Telly, and yes, I do need this specific tuning peg. But once I got it fixed up, I got it fixed up. Thank you for the canteen sip, by the way, Contestus. And after I got it fixed up, I, remembered that a great many different, effects pedals that I had gotten primarily for use with my synths, because, you know, I used to own a Novation Mini-Ova and an Arturia Microbrute. And I would frequently use a lot of different effects pedals with them. I used to use a lot of reverb and delay pedals to use create feedback loops with a synth. It was a lot of fun. But give me a second here. I got some work to do. Okay, hold up. Welcome to Stalker Tuesday. Come for the action, stay for the yapping. But so I had a couple of effects pedals that I used to use a lot with it. Chief among them being a, I believe it was a Deadbeat Sound delay pedal, a Deadbeat Sound void reverb pedal, and most importantly, I actually have a Boss DS1. I never ended up using it with my bass because I used the Holy War for that. But I did have a Boss DS1. So once I actually got a hold of my friend Squire, I actually used those 3 pedals in combination with it. I do want to play a lot more post-punk and shoegaze, but that does kind of require at least a chorus pedal. I need a chorus and a fuzz. So if you've ever wondered, Sascha, you're the Tactical Maid VTuber, why are there guitar pedals on your throne? It's because I do play guitar intermittently. In order to really have like a decent, you know, shoegaze rig that really feels like it fits, I do have to get my hands on a chorus and a fuzz. But here's the reason why I'm not terribly stressed about that, and it's also why I don't own an amp, because I just plug my guitar into my Focusrite, and then I run my guitar rig through Ableton Live. So I just use, I plug my guitar into my Focusrite, and from there I just open Ableton, and then I use Native Instruments Guitar Rig VST. And then I can just build whatever fucking rig that I want. There was another really good kind of guitar rig VST that had a very nice tangible feel and a fantastic little pedal board aesthetic. It was gorgeous. But I do like playing guitar, and I do like, you know, playing, as much as I used to play a lot of the heavy and, you know, kind of insane stuff, I actually kind of now, my heart kind of belongs to playing a lot of folk rock. I really like it. I like playing slowcore, I like playing, you know, shit like fucking Red House Painters and, you know, James Taylor and Neil Young and all that. I'm happy with that. I'm kind of proud of how my tastes have mellowed out, and so I'm not terribly pressed on getting more pedals, because as much as I would like more pedals, I don't really need them, because I can just use NI Guitar Rig, and failing that, I just kind of like a perfectly clean sound, because when I'm playing something like, say, Echo and the Bunnymen or The Cure, I don't really need to worry about having particularly extensive guitar rig setups. I can just, a very basic effect with a little bit of chorus and a little bit of delay and reverb is fine. And it sounds good. I really like playing post-punk. It's fun. God, that's a lot of talk about guitars. Let's see here. About a month until I can maybe get my Les Paul back. That would be lovely. Let's see. My ex's cat destroyed my amp. Pouring one out for your cat, for your amp, my homie. Well, also for your cat. DS1 is a classic, and it's a really solid sound. I might track an older one down, but I'm more of a tube screamer. See, how you feel about that is how I feel about delay and reverb pedals. I don't just want any digital reverb pedal. I personally really don't like digital reverb sounds, and before you can say, Sascha, how can you tell the difference? I just can't. I'm not big on digital reverb pedals, but I do very much want a spring reverb. A spring reverb device would be lovely. I love spring reverb, and just as well, any regular digital delay pedal I'm not interested in. I would rather have something like, say, a tape echo. I really, really, really like tape echo. And to another lesser extent, God, what else was I gonna say? I just like very specific styles of guitar effects and all everything of that matter. It's fun. It's very fun. God, there was like one other guitar effect I was gonna say, and then it just slipped my fucking mind, and I can't remember it. Tape echo, spring reverb. Right. Even if I don't plan on actually using it, I do want to get my hands on a Digitech Whammy, because, like, dude, listen to the fucking thing. I have to see if I can't find the website again, but my friend Ben, in a couple of local bands, he actually showed me a website with a very bizarre little pedal that I do kind of want to get my hands on if I can find it in a secondhand shop someday. But it was called the Shack Fuzz, and I shit you not, it was literally just somebody built a guitar fuzz pedal into a copy of Shaq Fu. And that was it. That was literally all it was. It's just a Shaq Fu box with a fuzz pedal built into it, and it was called the Shack Fuzz. There was also I think it was by Earthquaker. I think it was called, like, the Corruptor or something, but it was a really cool, like, digital kind of, like destructor device that looked really fantastic. Thank you for the third canteen sip. Ah, Gravy with the Hydratch. Good to see you. How are you doing, Gravy? Give me a second, I'm gonna get up and stretch. When I get my EBO, I'm just gonna get a USB jack and use my PC as my amp. Yeah, like, I can do this while I stretch. I think one of the biggest things that was difficult for me about actually being able to practice was that everyone could hear me do it. Which wasn't terribly fun. Because I don't like trying to practice, like, you know, back when I was a kid and practicing drums, and then when I grew up and started practicing bass, and then when I started practicing guitar, I wasn't a big fan of practicing and then having people in my family comment on it. They didn't seem to realize, because they're like, oh, well, if I'm complimenting you and saying, oh, good job, like, why is that a thing that bothers you? It's like, because you're perceiving me, and making it clear that you perceive me. I do not want to be perceived. Do not perceive me. But realizing that I can just plug my guitar into my Focusrite and do all of my rig on Ableton through my headphones and nobody has to hear it, that helps. That helps a lot, because I lose a lot of the stage fright. I lose a lot of the anxiety of people hearing me, because they don't. I hate yeah, and the, like, okay, like, look at it that way, right? My family got me, like, a real drum kit because electronic drum kits were not really as widespread back in the early aughts. So my ass had to try and play drums with the whole fucking family hearing because our house was quiet as shit back in the early days. So I picked quite possibly the worst instrument to want to get off, like, to, you know, start off playing, because the whole house could hear me playing drums. I never practiced. Even when I got into, like, a local death metal band, I still didn't want to actually practice. Why? Because everyone had to fucking hear me. Which, I should have just gotten an electronic drum kit. But what are you gonna do, you know? I didn't really know those existed then. And what are you gonna do? But, then eventually, you know, now that I'm, like, you know, like a grown-ass woman, I can just fucking play guitar in my room and not give a shit. Helps a little bit, you know? So, whoa. Hey, hold on, let me just pick up this note real quick.
Прошу залишити приміщення. Я його зайняв, і брати тут нема чого.
Охолонь, аспірант. Мене Двупалов послав.
Професором все гаразд? Ще не помер від інтоксикації своєї...
Even this guy knows the professor likes to get sloshed as a motherfucker.
І це не кажучи про аномальний компонент. До чого людина опустилася? Видатний учений і самого...
A great scientist resorting to becoming a moonshiner? Look, Doug, at this point, it's a fucking pipeline. At this point, scientist to moonshiner is a pipeline, especially in the wake of the fucking AI outbreak, alright? Tell me more about him.
Кажеш, він видатний вчений.
Професор Двупалов – один із найяскравіших талантів часів проекту X. Ідейний натхненник і керівник проекту «Контролер». Колись він був рушієм науки.
Coming to a jar near you, Engelshine. You know, I drink it. You make some Engelshine cherries.
Життя, бачите, нічого не змінюється. Та якби ти, професоре, не самогоном торгував, а мої нотатки почитав.
Yeah, well, he thinks of you as some plucky young grad student who didn't know his fucking left from his right, so I don't think you could have expected any of this to go well. Every person who doesn't resort to death or drugs in a wasteland is an individual miracle. I mean, in Stalker it's different. Stalker isn't quite a wasteland. Stalker's pretty populated, and also it's honestly a pretty lush place. I sort of get what you mean, but you have to understand, this is also a Slavic exclusion zone we're talking about. People already drink enough to make your average Westerner's head spin. Like, recreational drinking is just kind of what we do here, and at this point, it's not even really a thing you do to stay sane, it's just a thing you do because it's a thing you do. It's a when in Rome type thing. Everyone drinks in a fucking Slavic zone. It's not really a matter of, like, escapism or, like softening the blows of reality. It's just, cheers, thanks, you know, welcome on back from your raid. Take a load off, have a couple shots of vodka. Angel Shine blueberries will make your head spin. You will be able to breathe fire around a lighter when you have a drink of it. Honestly, real. Can I pour it in my car? Can I pour it in my gas tank?
Навіщо ти взагалі з ним возишся?
Там же зберігаються неоціненні знання, навички, які в Малахіті просто неможливо отримати. Тим більше зараз. Професор просто не має права.
Listen, bro. If the man wants to waste away in a fucking tunnel in the middle of nowhere, cooking up moonshine, I think that's his God-given right to do so. I certainly have no business telling him he can't, and, considering there's no narcs or prohibitionists that can come around and give him shit for it, I say still to your heart's content, my man. I also have a friend that makes mead. He got entirely into beekeeping specifically for the purposes of making mead. Honestly, respect him. Honestly, fucking respect him. It was really cool to kind of get to see it.
Професор мене відправив до тебе по ключ-картку від X5. Я шукаю придушувач фантомів.
Я до Двупалова півроку щодня ходив. Харчі носив, поки він моє прізвище запам'ятав. А тобі одразу про картку розповів? Ти пив з ним чи що?
Of course I had a drink with him, you fucking idiot. That's the only way to get any information out of anybody, especially in this zone. It's customary if you're sitting down to talk business with somebody, you have a couple of shots. Sometimes getting info out of people is a competition. Sometimes you gotta go shot for shot and see how close you can get somebody right to the brink of a blackout just to get enough information out of them. Ahoo, ahoo, it's poison. Okay, Poindexter, calm down. No, real shit. Like, look, it's the zone. Everyone's got enough information they gotta keep a hold of for one reason or another. At this point, there's no speech checks. It's how well can you hold your liquor, rookie? You want to know about me and my disconcerting past and my involvement with war crimes and or extremely unethical medical trials and science experiments, the likes of which must never surface if I am ever to remain a free human being? Go shot for shot with me. See if you can get out of me before you black out. It ain't a speech check, it's a constitution saving throw. You get it, Missy. You get it. Search for any papers related to the controller project and bring them back to me. Okay, what's in it for you?
Я намагався пояснити професору Двупалову, що я достойний наступник у його великій справі, але отримав лише кілька його чорнеток.
Damn.
В одну з яких він
Vupalov just sounds like me. I'd do that.
що може вписати наші імена в історію. Якщо професор не хоче цього розуміти, то я завершу цю справу.
Imagine us going shot for shot. I mean, we will be doing that on the fucking streamerversary, I guess. The Sasha-versary.
Якщо вже мені туди лізти,
maybe I'll get some, maybe I'll get some bourbon.
Про неї ніхто навіть не чув до певного моменту. Дослідження були засекречені, а лабораторія законсервована. А потім
Now remember, this is Stalker, so a lab being mothballed means it's probably chock full of mutants. A lab being mothballed means it's probably absolutely full to bursting with fucking bloodsuckers and pseudogiants. And when he says duty cleared it out with explosives, that means they walked in, blew the door open, checked out the fucking reception room, and then immediately noped out of there when the aforementioned 50 bloodsuckers fucking ran a train on them. That's standard practice here in the zone.
Розкажи, що тобі відомо про цей проект.
Проект «Контролер» ніби дійсно займався фантомами. Але його основним завданням було, на відміну від їхніх мутантів-попередників, яких...
Okay, wait a minute. No. If we're talking about creatures being specifically being bred as soldiers, does this mean we're actually going to see the universal soldier? For those who don't know, there was actually going to be a cut enemy in the original Stalker Oblivion Lost called the Universal Soldier. And it was this weird-looking, fucked-up ape homunculus type thing. But they were terrifying, and they were kind of supposed to be like super soldiers, because every sci-fi horror game needs to have the failed super soldier project. That was just... as was the style at the time. Every mid-aughts, and every, like, late 90s and early aughts sci-fi horror game had to have the failed super soldier project. It was every single one. It was Far Cry, it was Fear, it was Stalker, you fucking name it. It was just, when in Rome, you do that. So, I'm wondering if this is going to be how they soft canonize that. Yeah, even Project X had their stupid fucking fail super soldier.
Давай ключ-карту, а далі буде видно.
Гаразд. Іншого вибору...
Because everybody wanted their Ubermensch, but nobody wanted to just fucking be the big motherfucker and just admit that they wanted an Ubermensch. Because nobody wanted to admit they wanted an Ubermensch, because wanting an Ubermensch means you're a fucking fascist. It's Project Paperclip all over again. We want to have what the Nazis wanted, but we want to do it right, but we don't want anybody to think we're aligning with the Nazis, so we're going to come up with our own way of wording it so people don't think we're Nazis. Even though we are. Welcome to military contracting and R&D. Man, Project Paperclip, Operation Paperclip fucked up everything. What was that one line in that Silent Planet song? When they say, what is it, the darkness didn't die, no, we brought it home. Alright, so we've got Nad incoming. I need to get up and go use the bathroom. When I come back, I might grab myself a snack or something. We're going to clear out this lab, and then we're going to call it a night, because I do have another 10 to 5 tomorrow. So stay tuned. I will be right back, because at present, I am also getting a call.
You're of no use to be burnt out, Sascha. Fall back and regroup with Strelok.
Fuck you.
That's an order.
Yeah, order this.
All right, I'm all back. Hey, everybody. Yeah, I got a little, as soon as I got up to go stretch, I noticed a little OBS has crashed notification. Now, of course, this is simply just a trick of the trade in VTubing and streaming in general, but if we have anybody in here who doesn't know, if you ever end up with one of those OBS has crashed notifications, OBS doesn't actually close until you click anything on it. You can continue to use OBS as you please until you feel like clicking on the notification as per your leisure. And only then will OBS actually crash and close. Otherwise, you can just continue to stream or do whatever the fuck you please until then. You are still... OBS is still at your whim and always is. So never forget that. That being said, since I do have to be up at 7 tomorrow, I'm probably going to be closing us up within an hour. Shorter stream, and I was late to it, yes, but, I think it's, I think you guys would prefer that I was taking care of myself, so I will be doing exactly that. Without further ado, let's get back to it, shall we? And, good fucking timing, too, because I'm getting that call again.
Your break is over, Bloodhound. Now get moving. We don't have all day.
Yes, Miss Muller.
Dude, I can't fucking stand her. Don't tell her I said that. Don't tell her I said that. Or she's gonna put the hurt on me. But I can't fucking stand her. Alright, well, if I'm all the way down here and, Rostock's all the way over there, I might go head back and then retool myself. A broken rock. Not bad for a first pull. God, I'm so proud of the fucking sound effects that I, set up with that. I think that's gas. Interesting that I came back on a Ride to Hell song. You know, I was talking about them in VC the other day, and it does bear repeating, but if we happen to have anybody in chat who has not heard I wanted to walk into an anomaly, well, I guess there is no better time to die in the anomaly than when you don't have any artifacts, huh? But, speaking of music like the Ride to Hell Retribution soundtrack, the other night in VC, right, I was hanging out with all the homies, and, what ended up happening was, I was playing some Pacific Drive again. Well, I didn't really end up actually getting to play it, because I got sidetracked talking about music for like a good 2 or 3 hours. Angel put me onto a really good song by At the Drive-In called Quarantined. Oh my god, is it good. But, the whole goal of what I was doing was to go through my iTunes library of all of my music, and oh. Okay, so I guess the only way you can get in there is through a teleporting anomaly. But the whole goal was to go through my iTunes library and make a whole playlist of songs that were all, make a whole playlist of songs that were all period accurate. Like, all could have technically been, like in existence and on the radio during the game's time period, to put on my custom radio. So obviously a lot of, you know, like things like funk, jazz, nu metal, hip-hop, you name it. Even some new wave and pop. It was cool, but anyway, I eventually got to talking about one of my favorite sludge metal bands, that being the Atomic Bitchwax. An interesting and ridiculous name for a really, really good fucking band. I mean, granted, if we have anybody in chat who happens to be knowledgeable or experienced with the genre of sludge metal, you'll probably understand that, Atomic Bitchwax is probably the tamest name a sludge metal band has ever had, looking at you, weed eater. It was good stuff. If you like sludge, or stoner metal, or groove metal, or anything that just really kind of like hits and feels great, go listen to the Atomic Bitchwax. I'm a big fan of a couple of their songs, 45, Smokescreen, Last of the V8 Interceptors. Really good tracks, really good tracks. Can't recommend them enough. Brings me back to when me and a couple of my friends used to have a sludge metal band in high school. None of us smoked weed, but we did want to make stoner metal like Black Label Society and more. So we all used to just hang around. I'd play a bass line, or Francis would hit a drum lick, like a kind of a basic drum rhythm or a pattern, and we'd basically just improvise over the course of 30 minutes. It was bliss. It was beautiful. I'd kill to do that again. And the name of our band was Smoke Bomb Trip Mine, so take that to me what you will. Once again, suburban teenagers who have never smoked weed in their lives. $30 to $50 Feral Hogs 0. Sascha Ferretto 1. Anyway, looks like the only way to get to that is from inside or with a key, but I imagine the key is probably inside. I know there's an anomaly with a teleporter up there. It's a whole lot of bullshit. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Da-na-na-na-na-na. You can't shoot a plank inside? Nah, the icon on the door is a key on it, implying I need to have a key to get inside. I can't seem to see the doorway from in... actually, no, you know what? That... Let's see if that theory holds water. Nope. That door needs a key. I see a first aid kit on that shelf. The bands my friends and I tried forming never got off the ground, but we were going to be called Cadillac Earl. You know... You know, Ziggy... Say what you want. But you know what? I would happily own a Cadillac Earl cassette tape. Huh? Huh. I would happily pull up to my homies and be like, yo, you don't even know. You don't even know, dude. I'm on some whole other shit. I got this demo tape from Cadillac Earl. They're going places, man. And then I get kicked out the function, but I don't care because I get to listen to Cadillac Earl in my whip as I'm driving home. All of our old bands were whack. Well, not like the names were just kind of funny to look back on, right? Because we tried to go for like a grindcore band once. I forget what the name of that was. I was gonna try out like a post-hardcore band. I was gonna try a fucking post-hardcore band called Donuts and Coffee at one point. We also, I think, tried to start a slam metal band that we named like Rillier after Cthulhu's domain, I think. We had a track that we were working on called "Torn Asunder by the Tentacles of Cthulhu." So typical high school slam band type shit, but it was still fun, you know. And then now it's like, well, what the fuck do I name myself after? I don't know, dog. Too much Sasha, but you spell the Sasha with $2 Who gives a fuck? Donuts and Coffee sounds like a gas band name. It was. We never ended up actually writing or recording anything. Most of these bands we had were just us kind of like throwing ideas together, and we never really wrote or recorded anything because we were all too busy and in high school to do anything. But I'd say Smoke Bomb Trip Mine was the closest we ever came to actually making anything worthwhile. Because we did record a couple of our sessions in Reaper, and obviously it was recorded terribly because it was just like an open mic of all of us, but like, for fuck's sake, it didn't... Oh, Jesus. For fuck's sake, it didn't matter if we actually recorded anything or made anything of like true consequence. All that mattered was we got together in a room, and for the next 2 hours we were probably having the most fun with music we'd have for the next 10 years. And that's all that matters. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how much music a band releases. It doesn't matter, you know, whether you top the charts or whether you know, get any publications or anything. All that matters is you make music that feels good to you to make. All that matters is that you and your homies get together in a room and you make something that feels like it was unabashedly made by you. is something that nobody else could have made, and nobody else could have sat in that room and made it but you and your friends. That's all you should make music for. It's why I DJ drum and bass, it's why I produce hip-hop, it's why I produce ambient, and it's why I like doing rap covers, because at the end of the day, the only music you should ever make is the music that you want to hear more of. That's the entire idea behind the tapes. Yeah, the Spencer Mansion tapes, baby. My friend Ray latched onto the name and has tried to name 2 bands. He's been in that, but his bandmates shut it down both times. His bandmates sound like narcs. Weirdly enough, the name is a Mythbusters reference. Aw. It's been a while since I last watched Mythbusters. Really long-ass time. Interesting, but I get it, Pickle. You should put Mythbusters on the media server. Looks like a fun show. I also missed it. I liked Adam Savage a lot. I like that one time they basically just, like, fucking, like, batch knocked out a bunch of Breaking Bad ones. They had a Cadillac named Earl they used for their tests. That checks out. It's so weird. This building right here, you used to be able to go into it back in the old days. I guess now we can't no more. Adam Savage now does YouTube. I think it's called Tested. Yeah, but it ain't the same, you know? It ain't the same without Jamie in it. Of course he's still a nutcase. His name is Adam Savage. He's got to live up to his fucking name. I'm happy this room is still here. The building looks weird without all the burnt fuzz in it. I do wonder why burnt fuzz as an anomaly doesn't appear to be here anymore. We have a bunch of other really interesting anomalies and more, but, like, you know, the time dilation ones and the fucking, what is it, broken glass ones, but, no burnt fuzz. He needs the crankiness of Jamie. Yeah, exactly. Like the way that Jamie played the straight man, and Adam Savage always kind of played, like, you know, the one with the really high ambitions. It was a really good dynamic they had together. It's like how you can like yeah, you know, like James May's like fucking like shows that he does, like the shows that like Clarkson, Hammond, and May all do on their own are perfectly fine and entertaining and serviceable. But, like, you know, it doesn't hit like Top Gear did. And also, no offense, but to a lesser extent, the Grand Tour also doesn't hit like Top Gear did. I've heard decent things about Clarkson's farm. I think it's the only time I'll ever watch a fucking Tory on a farm doing anything. But... they both have those two polar oppositisms that play off each other really well. Abso-fucking-lutely. Abso-fucking-lutely. Yeah, I heard okay things about Clarkson's farm. I liked some of what Hammond was up to. And, you know, credit to him. Lots of love for James May. James May has always been my favorite on Top Gear. Because, Clarkson's an asshole and Hammond is short. James is just kind of old. James is just kind of old. And that's why he's charming. He's just some old bastard pulling up and going, "It really is a rather sick call, my brother." Jamie is also one of those motherfuckers that did everything, too. Yeah, Mythbusters really was just weaponized autism. We love that kind of shit. I'm short, too. Why you do me dirty like that? Sorry. James May is a wonderful guy. Can we get a shout out? Does James May stream? Cause like I follow the guitarist of Tony Danza Tap Dance Extravaganza, and I used to rate him a lot back in the day. I'd like to get back to that. But can anybody tell me if James May has a Twitch? Cause I'd love to raid him. fucking hear like a fucking thank you for the raid, too much Sascha. Sascha? How am I pronouncing that? Ah, James, man, love you. I don't care how long you've been married with a wife. You are not a straight man, James. I'm sorry. You just aren't, and you never will be. Did I say that out loud? Whoops. Weaponized autism sounds like another name for new type abilities in Gundam. Bold of you to think that they basically just aren't exactly that. And in a way, I'm kind of like a new type. What does that mean, Sascha? What do you mean by that? I don't know. Emily is canonically autistic. I imagine most Gundam characters are, aren't they? Okay. So, if we're going to be going to a place that's washed with mutants, we're probably going to want a shoddy. And I know exactly what to bring with me. Who's going mutant hunting? We's going mutant hunting. Got blood, guts, fingers and toes. Blood, guts, fingers and toes. Sit in front row at the chicken show. So, who's going chicken hunting? Well, I don't have a whole lot of expansive rounds for anything aside from a fucking shoddy, so it looks like we sledgehammer for life right now. Fuck it, I'll take it. I am weapons grade autistic, should be supervised at all times, but I'm too slippery and escape the jar. Real. He does actually straight up say he has autism. Can't go wrong with a spaz, especially if it's a sledgehammer, which has a fucking hollow sight on it and a very good fucking rate of fire. This thing takes most mutants to task pretty fucking quickly. And you know what? Given that I'm sitting on over 100, almost 140,000 rubles, I think it's time I splurge and treat myself a little. And nothing says that like packing a fucking, like, giant-ass goddamn elephant killer thingy for this. Because look, I know what Stalker 2 likes to do to make an area difficult. They will absolutely jam fuck it with bloodsuckers. Okay? I'm not trying to deal with that. I'm not trying to make any of you watch me deal with that. So, I have my methods. And my methods are fucking elephant guns. I'll take a look at some merchandise, alright, motherfucker. I got merchandise. Okay. Take my guns. Leave. Would like some more ammo, though. Oh, also, Jared says his name sounds like a girl's name in episode 1, and Camille then spends the entire show beating his ass and killing everyone he loves. Which Gundam is this? Careful, Stalker. Psystorm incoming. Uh-oh. That's a little bit worrisome. You know, Nightmare Nexus is the type of motherfucker to just kind of, like, blindside me about shit. So if he's warning me, it's about to be bad. If he's warning me, it's about to be bad, homie. Zeta Gundam. Right, Zeta Gundam is the one with the piece of shit asshole who sucks and gets his shit rocked, right? That's the one? Geek UC Gundam? I really should start watching more Gundam. I feel like Nyx would take any opportunity to show me Gundam. Like, I'd be like, honey, can you show me Gundam? And she'd be like, I thought you would... She'd be like, I never thought you would ask. Nellohead, good to see you. You know, okay, let's bring, like, a little bit of... Let's bring a few slugs, just in case we run into some wackos. And let me repair my shit. Gonna put some on the server for y'all? Please do. Wow, that actually wasn't that expensive. Did I forget something? Yes, I did. I forgot to repair my, my Dnipro. Jesus Christ, Ziggy, that is a fucking name.
Sascha, get down. You're
Oh,
surrounded.
Christ, I'm scared. Ah! Rains, it's fine. I'm gonna be fine. Don't worry about me. Don't worry about me. Hi, everybody. Welcome on in. I am Too Much Sascha. I am the Chernobyl battle maid. I cook, I clean, I kill, and when I'm not doing any of those things, I'm on Twitch playing video games and being bullied by the United Nations. Nightmare, Nexus, and Terror Tapes video. Welcome on in. Angel, can you serve up our new bar goers a nice shout out? Thank you for trusting your community with me. I promise they're in good hands. Tell me all about what you were doing and how it went. But if you got a raid and run, don't sweat it. We will be here. For anybody in here who is not already
Sascha,
following
look out.
our...
It's an ambush.
Jesus Christ, are you serious? This was planned. This was planned, wasn't it? This was fucking planned. I know it was. God damn it. Rattle him, chat. Oh, Jesus Christ. Nightmare, this is a raid in the purest sense of the term. You brought your whole fucking posse in here, and that's fucked up. But it is kind of funny in a cosmic sort of way. But thank you all so much. Angel, thank you for giving our new homies a shout out. You're playing Ready or Not. Oof. I have choice words about that game, as I am a very, very heavily ACAB person. Very heavily ACAB spaced this one, so I'm just gonna give all of our new homies a big heads up. We are a very ACAB space here, so just keep that in mind. Follow button won't work. Interesting. Yeah, I couldn't play that game I couldn't play that game on moral grounds. Doesn't sit well with me playing a propaganda game. But, it's still nice to see you, Nightmare, regardless. We're playing some Stalker Tuesday tonight, and I'm, cold chilling.
Sascha, look out. It's an ambush.
Oh, Jesus Christ. The fucking third raid of the night. Welcome on in, Nellowhead.
You've got eyes on you, Bloodhound.
Thank you for the follow,
Watch it.
Nellowhead. Well, thank you for, joining the Pripyat City Hate Crew. Yeah, we're, playing some Stalker 2. Yeah, I know what you mean about your playstyle, but I'm standing my ground on it. Thank you guys for the raid. We're playing some Stalker 2.
Hey, Sascha, be careful. Looks like someone's following you. Want me to take care of them?
Nah, you ain't gotta do nothing, Kelly. I am going to ask that we no longer...
Hey, Sascha, be careful. Looks like someone's following you.
Thanks for the follow,
Want me to
Terror
take
Tapes.
care of them?
Nah, I'm good. I would like to ask that we do not discuss Ready or Not any further in my
Toretto,
chat.
pay
Thank
attention.
you.
You've got a tail.
Thank you for the follow as well, Killer Saw. Yeah, I'm gonna ask that we don't discuss Ready or Not. I don't like discussing police sims. It's not in this space. Thank you. But it's still nice to see a lot of you. I hope you're all having a wonderful night, being good to yourselves, and I hope you enjoy your time in here, as long as you heed my words there. We're playing some Stalker 2, and then after that, I'm going to be calling it a pretty early night, and then probably sending all of y'all on over to another homie. So, I will bring us on back down to the game, and we will continue as we
pay
go.
attention. You've got a tail.
Undead Commander, thank you for the follow as well. Welcome on in. So...
You've got eyes on you, Bloodhound. Watch it.
Jesus, y'all are putting fucking Iris's voice alerts to work. Thank you for the follow, Sensei1013. By the way, if you want to check out the people who have been doing my commands, my good homie Loot VT did the commands for the character of Esther Rains, who is my sort of co-operator, who does a lot of my follow alerts there. All of those voice lines are done by her, and she did a wonderful job. So, before we turn in for the night, I'm going to be going on down to Ahrorprom here in Stalker 2. I've got some work cut out for me, because obviously it's a little underground area that's probably going to be full to bursting with bloodsuckers, so I'm deciding I'm not really going to be half-assing it on the arsenal. Nice big old fucking elephant gun, and this absolute goddamn howitzer of a thing. It's really more of a flat cannon. Pickle, earlier you were telling me that the I can't go wrong with the SPAS, and allow me a demonstration, if you will. You can basically dump the entire tube into something before it even has a fucking chance to go for a Constitution save roll. So it's pretty good. Rather you not say the numbers, no worries, I will happily just say Sensei. As I said, you can't go wrong with a spaz. You really can't. I mean, granted, because of the high fire rate, this thing, like, absolutely fucks its durability pretty fast. But, like, look, if you're up against, like, a bloodsucker, or something really, really, really bad... My shotgun got a switch on it, bitch. Yeah, exactly. What's the fucking big L
pay
line?
attention. You've got a tail.
Dark Disciple, thank you for the follow. What's the big L line? What is it? I'm known to have a hottie open, I keep the shotty smoking, front and get half the bones in your body broken. Rest in peace, Big L. So anyway, before we fucking close up shop for tonight, I'm gonna be hopping down there and I'm gonna be tearing these mutants a new asshole. If there's no mutants out there and I just, like, got myself set up with, like, a goddamn elephant hunting setup for nothing, I guess call it Gerza dreaming. Fuck it. It brings back memories to be here. I remember the first time I ever, like, played Stalker. I went out of my way and never went down here for the first year of me playing it. The first time I ever actually did the mission where you go down here, I shit you not, the fire alarm in my dorm went off while I was doing it. That was a bigger jump scare than anything I actually had in the game, but it certainly enhanced the fucking atmosphere. Of course, you know, back in Shadow of Chernobyl, this place was full to bursting with bandits and one whole bloodsucker, and maybe a controller if you just really had shit luck. The fruit punch anomalies are still in the same place, and if memory serves, there used to be an electrical anomaly with a really nice artifact that only showed up during very specific times of day. Here, of course, these tunnels are now empty. Now, remember finding this area in the early game and wondering if you could ever actually go down here? It looks like now that's not... Well, back then that wasn't the case, but now you can. This tunnel no longer... No, actually it does. Hold on. Nope, you totally can't. It caved in. That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. Oh, wait. Yeah, wait, hold on a second. That's actually so funny. It's very noticeably the skeletons of the guy. These are the guys that Strelok murked in Shadow of Chernobyl. When Strelok came through here and wiped the fucking place clean of anything that breathes, trying to find his old stash because he had amnesia, these are all the dudes you wipe out in Shadow of Chernobyl. Here they are. They are... Sad way to go, but I personally, for a piece of shit no good Gopnik, I think they could have gone worse. Now, this area here is my personal favorite, because if you look from up above, there it is, look at that. The last time you really get to see any kind of sunlight at all in this area before you go down there. Now, I'm really, really not keen on this, because, oh god, I forgot about this fucking horrible, fucked up wireframe staircase. And then, obviously, anybody who's only ever played Stalker 2 isn't gonna think a whole lot, but, like, naturally, anybody who's a veteran like me, who's coming from the classics, is gonna know exactly what to look for down here, and it's not gonna be good. Alright, well, let me quick save and let me make sure I'm all ready to go. Come on out. Oh, okay, that's a problem. That was not what I expected. Wait a second. Alright, well, if this is what we're doing... Zombies. Well... Okay, so hold on. I understand environmental storytelling. If we're dealing with zombies, that likely means some type of Psi mutant is afoot down here, which likely means we're going to be dealing with a controller, which I'm really, really not planning on having to deal with. 357 will sit as... That sounds like a Dracula flow line. Fucking, this shit ain't nothing to me, man. My chopper will make a George Romero movie stand up. I'm just like sitting here trying to think of more of these. Hold on a second. Oh God. The 357. No, I think it was the 44 Magnum crew cut was what Angel said last with the fucking Resident Evil stream, wasn't it? Yeah, I can tell it's gonna get bad because they gave me a bunch of fucking hollow point ammo here. This is where Strelok's old stash was in the original game. You can't get there no more. Fucking pity. But what are you gonna do? The Ruger 22 turned World War Z into a comedy flick. Oh. Hi, Chance Nezumi. Normally I like rats. Not when there's that fucking many of them, though. What did I call them when I was playing this with Kelly? Volumetric rats? Yeah. Okay, how many fucking rats are there, bruh? The way they all just kind of like jump up in the air. Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, shit. Guess I'm recreating that one dream sequence from Shadow of Chernobyl then? Whatever. Cool. Thanks for wasting a bunch of my fucking, ammo. Needs to play the Grunt Birthday Party SFX when you blast a bunch of them up. I love how, like, if you sometimes toss them at, like, the fucking, what do they call it? The Tushkano? The little Jerboa motherfuckers. They all, like, comedically jump up into the air and then flop back down again. It's really funny. Oh, I guess you can go down here. Ah. That's where I have to go, but I guess you can't. Alright, that's fine. I was really hoping I get to see Strelok's stash in fucking 4K. That's alright. Yeah, the Tushkano are ridiculous in this game. I'd take like fucking 50 of them in Call of Pripyat over one of them in this one. This is actually pretty effective horror atmosphere, if only because, like, unlike the other labs, I've been here before. Meaning that this area kind of has like a sort of like... Angel, you remember how when I played through the Circa section in this game on stream and I talked about how going back to Wild Island feels like walking on a mass grave? This is kind of a little like that. I've been here before. Obviously not in these areas of Ahrorprom. I guess there's a little bit of hints that Ahrorprom had a lab like beneath it, but it wasn't to this degree of organizing. Hold on a fucking second. Okay, no. For some reason, it's almost midnight, and I'm actually getting a little bit spooked now. So I'm popping some side block, because I don't know what's going to be around the next corner, but I hear those fucking noises, and I know what that means, and I'm really not vibing with this. Give me 1,000 controllers over 10 Tushkano. You better knock on some fucking wood, my man, because that might be what we're going to get served up. Yep. How did I know it? Alright. Uh-oh. The fuck was that? I said come in, don't stand there. Okay, no, I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this. If you're gonna be that far away, you're gonna be that far away. Hold on a sec. I got 30 cc's to shut the fuck up right over here. Where you at, pussy boy? Step up. Oh, come on, man. Okay. So we got a fuck ton of rats. We got a poltergeist. We got a controller. I'm missing anything here? You got me fucked up. You got me fucked up. Now this is a fucking stalker lab. This is like the kind of shit they threw at you back in X18. This is ridiculous. But it's okay. It's not okay, actually. I might be stuck. No? Actually, no. Wait. Ouch. That's fucked up. Here we go. Hey, I got a question. Did you guys see where that controller went? Because he did his thing at me, and then he just kind of... Yeah, he was like... Uh-oh. Okay. That... Oh, for fuck's sake, dude. Okay, no. If I'm gonna be around here, if I'm gonna be in here, I can't go back up. Uh-oh. Alright, well, I guess the only way we can go is deeper. Jeez, H, this is bad. This was all underneath the Ahrorprom Research Institute, motherfucker? This was how deep it went? Oh, that's... No, I don't think I fuck with this, actually. That's some dire implications. We're gonna pretend we don't see that. Hey, Vupolov's been here. You know, chat, I'm starting to think maybe there's a reason that Vupolov left all this behind and started making moonshine and drinking his shit into a stupor. And I don't think it was just that he was building weird weapons technology. I think maybe something really fucking sordid happened here. Please tell me I'm gonna get proven wrong in the next 20 minutes. And when I say sordid, I mean fucking sordid. Oh my god, bro. This is rough. Okay. Oh, right. Yeah, there's a staircase. Alright, step up to the gun show, motherfucker. Where you at? I don't care about anything else in this lab. I'm going to find you, and I'm going to blow the teeth out the back of your fucking head as soon as I find you. I will find you. Make no mistake, I will. Wait. Hey, chat? Hey, Pickle? Don't tell me. The controller's not real. The controller's not real. Is he? Because he was there and now he's not. He's not real, is he? Oh, come on. This? Alright. I see what we're doing here. I see what we're doing here. I see what we're doing. I see what we're doing. Pull up Eddie Murray with the stick and let it swing away. What I want to know is, where's the caveman? Schrodinger's controller. Yeah, also, it's not lost on me that as soon as I flip that switch, a bunch of fucking anomalies pulled up. I admit I'm probably missing some fucking things happening in this lab, but I just want to kill that motherfucker now. We got some elevators. really rickety-ass freight elevators. What the fuck was that? What was that? I saw something. I saw something moving. I'm sure it's nothing. Must have been the wind. Bodies on exam tables. Typical Project X bullshit. Why am I not surprised? Feel free to take your time. Alright. Of course, also, by the way, the missing or losing track of the suppressor manual. Because it's not Soviet mad science without terrible fucking OPSEC. Without some dude walking into the fucking, like, main lab area, just being like, oh, I just gonna grab this document, nothing, and then later on, oh my god, who took the crucial document? Oh my god, everything is fucked, people are dying. How could this have happened? Motherfucker, you let, like, the foreman of your laboratory and the main head of your research project walk in, blasted off his shit on moonshine. My brother in Christ, what did you think was going to happen? Oh, there's not much else here. My pistol kick like Eddie Gordo? Oh my god, that's a good one. Yeah, okay, alright. I'm starting to see why you guys had really fucking bad OPSEC. Bro stashing vodka under his table like he lives in fucking New York City in 23. What? Ugh. I don't fuck with this one bit. You know, one thing I gotta say, right, is that a lot of the earlier labs you go through are surprisingly not that spooky. You know? A lot of the lab areas were not that spooky early game. Huh? They weren't that spooky. Like, when you revisit Lab X18, it's actually really not scary, it's just really fucking annoying. When you go to, there's more vodka here in the 2009 Victoria Mile. The time you revisit Lab X18 early game is really not that spooky. The fucking Proman, like whatever the fuck, CMD facility is not that spooky. A lot of the underground lab areas you go to are actually kind of surprisingly pretty tame, generally speaking. So, it feels good to be going to a lab that is like, you know, much like the labs in the earlier games, is actually kind of surprisingly well done with its atmosphere. However, I am also about to piss myself. So, make of that what you will. I'm sure it's nothing. Ugh. Holding cells where mutants were held, obviously, with, absolutely garbage security measures, very easily escapable mesh ceilings for them to look down through above, a door that could easily be blown off its hinges by anything, and holes in the concrete wall caused by God knows what. Yep, this is definitely Project X. This is what you guys were willing to risk it all for? They're giving me a lot of fucking psi block. Oh. Oh, I don't fuck with this one bit. There's the yellow paint. Oh. You know, I'll feel that sinking feeling in my stomach, because I'm certainly feeling it. Sorry. Just trying to get a good look at my surroundings. Now, if I know Stalker development, something bad is gonna show up right up there. We did it. We did it. We called it. We called it. Oh, that was good. Oh, that was good. All right, die. Doot. Oh, it's a... Oh. Pickle, I am a puppy. Yeah, how about that? How about that? Call me David Crosby the way I hit these shots. I must be Sierra Online, how I point and click on 5-0. Ah. Bitch. Okay, I see what I have to do here. This is a very simple little system. Well, he can't hurt me as long as I'm behind something. That's how controllers work. So I'm just gonna sit here nonchalantly chomp on some fucking snacks and run up that pipe. Easy. Oh, right. Ugh. God, that was close. Fuck you too. Man, I can't win even when I want to. Alright, I'm very obviously on a timer here. The problem, though, is I can't climb up the fucking ladder because he starts hitting me, but if I get close enough, right? Yeah, eat that shit. Yeah, chew on that shit, motherfucker. My kingdom for 5 Cyblock, I guess. Oh, I did it. Excuse me. Easy. That's the one saving grace is controllers are sons of bitches in this game, but the one thing that I know pretty consistently, like most mutants in this game have at least 1 or 2 ways you can deal with them pretty gracefully. Controllers, if you get close enough, they just kind of try to melee attack you. About like a year or so after release, they gave them an AoE attack to make them a little bit less defenseless in like close to medium ranges, but it doesn't really matter. And with Bure's, all you have to do is just use fucking Skip's pistol because he can't lose it. The game is designed so he can't drop it. Wait a minute. Wait, that's not a hallucination. This is a... Wait, that's a mono... Oh my... Faust? Faust! I'm fucking coming for you next, motherfucker. Of course he was one fucking step ahead. Why wouldn't he be? Why wouldn't Faust know exactly where we were and what we were doing at every single turn? Why would he not just be the fucking Dagoth to my Nerevar? Fuck you too. Sounds like we got a mole. Who else wants smoke? Who else wants smoke? Come on, step up, step up. Show me what you got. Show me what you got, Fausty boy. What else? What else? You can send your whole fucking army. You can send every one of your closest boys. It ain't gonna matter. It'd be Amazon Prime how we sending him steel. Bought him at a restaurant, he never ended his meal. Oh look at that. Oh, you scared? You scared to pull up? You thought because I gave up the merc life that I wasn't trying to creep like that? You thought because I'm out here in the maid outfit that I'm not trying to creep like that? Come on, man. Don't fuck with me. I don't care. Noontide's gone. Noontide's gone and the fucking monolith lives again. I am gonna put every one of you motherfuckers back in the ground. At this point, I am going full 180, and the only thing we could have possibly done when the monolith fell is hunted every last motherfucker to extinction and put 2 fucking 9s in the back of his skull. I don't give a shit. Dagoth welcomes... Dagoth welcomes you, Nerevar, my old friend, to this place where destiny is made. Why have you come unprepared? Yeah, see, this is exactly what happened in Shadow of Chernobyl, but it was the fucking USS then. And now it's these limp dick motherfuckers. Come on. Where you at? Where you at? Ouch! Okay, 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 alright. I surrender. No, I don't. That was a stupid idea. Yeah, I know. I still want to look into that stash, but I know where it is, but I wanted to clear out all the other guys. Like, as soon as I saw the little, like, side entrance, I was like, yeah, let's gun it. Ugh. Should have surrendered. God damn it, Soroka. Are you serious? Wait. This is as far back as I saved? Oh, you've got to be fucking blowing me, dude. Alright, hold on a second. No, I know what to do. I know what to do. I played Resident Evil 4 Remake. Anyway, how are you doing, Soroka? It's good to see you again. Alright, watch this, okay? If I play my cards right. Alright, we got a shot off. Yeah, I'm noticing that controller acts slightly different than the others. Uh-oh. I'm noticing that controller acts slightly different than the other ones. Primarily because he makes you blink after he hits you. Ran straight through that motherfucker like I was bonesaw at GDQ. Don't fuck with me, boy. Fuck the Monolith, fuck Faust, fuck Project X, fuck the Seacon, and fuck every last motherfucker wearing white camo. Especially you. Yeah, I don't even care. I don't even care that I'm using expansive ammo on a heavily armored individual. I don't give a shit. Alright, as soon as I get out of this lab, we're calling it a fucking night. Wait, hold up. Oh, I'm out of grenades. Okay, well, that's fine too, I guess. Ooh. That was vile. If anything, you're doing these monolith guys a favor. I guess I am. This is kind of a mercy. In a way, it's a community service. Hold on a second. Can I even quick save with this many bad dudes around? Nope. Oh, look at you pre-firing a corner like a fucking big man, huh? Come on, spin again. You motherfuckers forget that when you use a flashlight, I can see you. Yeah, I literally cannot save. Try as I might. Let me go into Strelok's old stash and see if I can't have some better luck in there. Boy, you got the right one. Motherfucker asked me where his ops, you couldn't cite none. Grab a motherfucker while I'm looking like a white nun. I can't wait till Christ come. Don't get me fucked up now because these days I save my grace. Ooh. Sometimes you gotta let it fall apart to fall in place. Tat and Cross is trying to cover up my demon face. Well, that ain't a bad find. Hey, I know you. I know you. It's been a while. It's been a while, old friend. It's been a while. Now, I'm taking off the nods for this one. Oh, it's been a while, baby girl. You miss me? I remember you. I remember you. I remember you well. You got me through so much in the early game of Shadow of Chernobyl, and here you are. Oh, she looks... Honestly, it's kind of nice that all the other AKs in this game have, like, kind of like a pale and worn wooden furniture. Is that meant to be Strelok's AK? I would believe it is. At the very least, it's the AKS-74U that he uses at the very beginning, in, like, the dream sequence flashbacks of Shadow of Chernobyl. It's been a while, it's been a while. Is that what we're doing here? Are we doing that? Is that POD or Creed? I can't remember. But here's the thing, though, is that in Shadow of Chernobyl, he left it there before the events of the game, and when you actually come there in the game, you find it, which means that he came back between then and now. He's been here. That's Stained. Okay. I remember Stained because I know Fred Durst was a big fan of them. Close enough. Anyway, so if it's here, if his AK is here, that means he's been here recently. Because that trap has been relayed. You go to this stash a grand total of 2 times in Shadow of Chernobyl, and one of them, it's booby-trapped again. Because Doc booby-trapped it, and then he says, Strelok, are you fucking stupid? You're the one who literally told us to put these in place. How did you forget? You must have amnesia or oh, suddenly everything makes a lot more sense. Stained was Aaron Lewis, and they did a lot of really depressed-ass songs. Yeah. I'll take him over Puddle of Mud any day. He's been here. How many times are we gonna do the Skooks bit? I'm just kidding. I love it. Keep them coming. Alright, time to binge all of my food since I'm running out of space to carry everything I'm holding. Okay, now I can save. Cool. Lewis has made a country turn. It's not as bad as Kid Rock, but it's bad. What is it with, like, new metal into like first album new metal, late run post-grunge, finale, like, country bands? What is it with that arc, and why does it always churn out garbage? It's very suspicious, he says, after I blow his homie's head off with a fucking elephant gun. Smartest monolithians. His name is Ample because that's what he fucking needs every time he runs into me in the streets. He doesn't have a song about screaming what the fuck at his TV. Jesus. Ouch! That actually kind of hurt it. Ah! Nope. It isn't even Stain, it's just Aaron Lewis as a solo act. Alright, Alexa, play the Puddle of Mud cover of About a Girl by Nirvana, please. And then kill me immediately. Now, the last time you come in here is when you get the controller. You get it in that little tunnel right at the very end. You get one last fuck you at the door before you climb up a ladder into a base full of USS goons. Here, I'm hoping they were a little bit more merciful. Now you can actually see this. In-game, if you go here from above ground, you can actually look down here into this. And I know that because there's a stash right over here. And I was like, well, if there's a stash here, you have to be able to come in here. I'm getting fucking overwhelmed again with stuff. It was generally a bunch of white dudes playing at being a tough guys. Bro Country has adopted elements of rock and hip-hop in some wild way to keep with the times. Yeah, and every single one of them has been fucking awful. You'll pardon my biases. I love rock, I love hip-hop, and don't get me wrong, after listening to that album Angel showed me, I absolutely love a lot of country, but my god, Florida-Georgia line must suffer for their sins. Somebody else can do that, though. I'm too busy listening to fucking, I'm too busy listening to Red House Painters over here. I'm good. Yeah, this is where you get a controller. Oh, for fuck's sake. How about fuck you too? Yeah, and of course, as soon as you surface, it's just like the fucking military base in Shadow of Chernobyl. Bro's name wasn't really Megaphone, was it? Really, dude? You became a goddamn monolith preacher and the best you could do for your cool-ass new name was Megaphone? Man, Cadillac Earl clears that. What happened to all the fucking bloodsuckers in here? There was like fucking 10 of them when I came here before all this. What's up with that, huh? Really was. Really, really was. Oh. I see you have chosen death. This chopper is rated E for everyone. More of a classic rock person? I used to be into that stuff. I used to be really big into a lot of rock and metal. Now the most stuff I listen to a lot of like post-punk and new wave and a lot of folk rock, but like generally speaking now I'm kind of like more of like a soul and jazz kind of person. Really, really big on jazz. Hey. Bluegrass is really good, too. Pickle, have you heard of a band called Yes Ma'am? My partner really likes them. I think you'd fuck with them a lot. Long-range lobotomies for everybody? Hell yeah. I'm making half of Sapphic Blue Sky swoon. Alright, put that fucking joke in the can. It's not rolling. What a fucking night. Alright, as soon as the mission ends, we're calling it. Like listening to jazz while I play Elite Dangerous. Ziggy, there's a great song for that. It's called From Gagarin's Point of View. I can't remember the exact name of the artist, but it's a very, very good jazz song, and I think you'd like it a lot. I have to look it up. But I remember, like, because here's the thing, is, like, when I started really getting into wanting to make hip-hop, I was like, okay, to create any type of, like, any style of art on a meaningful level, you do have to understand its roots. I understand a lot of people like to be like, oh, you can make a thing of art, like a piece of art in a genre without needing to know everything about it. Sure, but in order to understand a piece of art on a cultural level, you do have to, at the very least, try to interface or engage with its roots, its origins. And in order to make hip-hop, I realized I needed to start interfacing and giving a little bit of myself to genres like soul and funk and jazz. And I just kind of started doing crate digging of just going through like lots and lots of really influential and interesting artists. I was listening to a lot of God, what's his name? Guy who was with Miles Davis Band and then started Return to Forever. Chick Corea. I was listening to a lot of Chick Corea, a lot of Miles Davis, a fair amount of Chet Baker, a lot of Aretha Franklin, and I guess Aretha Franklin's more soul, but a lot of her, a lot of Billie Holiday, Etta James as well. Etta James was really good. Just got really, really into jazz and soul and absolutely loved it. Soon I got another anomaly round. Oh no, Pickle, the artifacts are once per person. It's like everybody can only actually like pull it once per stream. That's so people don't do it for too long or like run up the stream with it, you know what I'm saying? Alright, that was a hell of a fucking raid. Stella! A crystal thorn. Yeah, it's mainly just because I don't want the artifact gotcha to take up too much things, but I think I did good by making it like a limit of 1 per person. And I could probably increase the cooldown time if I wanted to, maybe to 5 minutes, but I probably don't have to. Oh. What a fucking run, though. What a fucking run. Alright, I am gonna save here, and I'm gonna bring us on down to the bar, and we're gonna get ready to raid out, because holy shit, what a night it's been. I gotta get to bed. Oh, wait a second, hold up. I forgot.
You're certainly proving yourself quite the useful lapdog.
Fuck off.
Well done, Bloodhound.
It sounds so wrong when you say that.
Okay, what a night it's been. We killed it, actually. We kind of killed it. I spent a lot of time today playing a lot of really, really fun, doing like a lot of really, really good chatter and kind of opening my heart about a lot of really interesting feelings about streaming, about being up on the stage and all of that. It was really nice. Hold on just a second. It was a good time. There's only one of them in the whole game. Huh. Curious. But it was a good night. And I appreciate everybody who rated in. I also appreciate everybody who rated in and respected my wishes. Many thanks. It was good getting to meet a ton of new homies. And, fuck, what am I gonna do now? Shit. Who are we gonna raid? Do we have a good raid message? You know what? Fuck it. I have a good idea, actually. I have a... Oh, Jesus, my fucking voice. That's how you can tell it's been a little bit since I've been on a fucking stream, is my voice is starting to do that thing again. I'll tell you what. We're gonna go raid our good homie Kelly. If anybody's gonna get this reference, she will. We're gonna run the Stained reference. You know what? Fuck it. We're gonna run the Stained reference. That's your raid message. We're running the Stained reference. Let me go see who we're gonna raid into, because I'll tell you who it has been a while since we last raided. My good homie Kelly OC. One of my longest fucking day ones. Absolute fucking amazing homie who's been there for me in some really tough times, and I've been there for her in the same. And we both got to hang out IRL last month. Wonderful homie. Love her. Let's go see what she's getting up to today. I'm sure it's going to be 100% wholesome and nothing insane is going to be happening. Let me see. She is playing Doll's Nest. She's been really enjoying Doll's Nest, and honestly, as a doll, I respect it. As a doll, I respect it, and I should probably play this at some point, because these designs do look sick as shit, and I do like these environments as well. Big superstructure enjoyer here, big doll enjoyer, and big terrifying nightmare robot enjoyer. So I guess this game was just kind of fucking made for me. So, there's Kelly. We're gonna be raiding her. You got your raid message over there in the chat. What else? So, I am going to be playing some of Pathologic 2 on Thursday with Missy, as I do every other week. And then after that on Sunday, look out for a stream with me, Hikari, Angel, and our good friend Rody, because we're going to be playing some Forza Horizon 4. Specifically, we're going to be doing a Japanese domestic market racing bracket, and it's going to be a blast. So look forward to it, because we've been doing just as much prep work for this as we did for the rally race back in January. Also, keep an eye out for some really, really fucking cool stuff I've had in the works. Not on stream, but off stream. Something that all of you can get to enjoy. I think you're going to really like it. I'm going to bring us on down on the end screen. We're going to raid out, and I will see y'all in a little bit. I fucking love this song, though. I kind of don't want to turn it off. Alright, so let me get that raid started up. We're going to be raiding my good homie Kelly OC. You got your raid message there in the chat. If you want to use any other emotes, if you don't have access to mine, go right on ahead. Kelly's pronouns are he/she. Respect the rules, respect the pronouns. Don't be weird, don't be a dick. If you fuck up in there, you're not coming back in here. I promise you. If you'd like to see more of what I'm doing, go follow me on Blue Sky, where I post about all kinds of shit, which may or may not involve dolls, I guess, at this point. You can also come join our Discord and hang out with us. We do weekly listening parties, monthly game nights, weekly game nights, and we also just hang out and get up to completely insane shit all the time. If you want to support me and the rest of the hate crew, you can either tip me on Ko-Fi, grab me something on Throne, or I heavily recommend going to our fourth wall and grabbing some merch. We are going to be boosting it with a shit ton of cool designs in April, so look forward to that. That's gonna do it for tonight. Be good to yourselves, be safe out there. Free Chance Nezumi, PCHC for life, and we out.
With this glass